Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here bright and early for the start of day 2 at the Gates Enterprise Tech Channel Summit. We know it's a busy program. We know it's an ambitious day ahead, so thank you for turning up here bright and early. We expect a few more to come in the room over the next minutes, so if you would make your way forward and take a seat. We'll get started in just a moment. We're going to start with a series of keynote speeches this morning. You're going to hear from some of the top voices in the industry who are going to share their insight about the trends and directions in the marketplace. Then we're going to have a second session of Smart Pitch. This one is not going to be 90 seconds. To turn up the pressure just a little bit more, we're going to go from 90 to 60. All of the presenters this morning are startups, so they should be very comfortable to give a 60-second, 1-minute elevator pitch. Not 1 second more. All channel partners in the room, all speakers were given a voting device as you came in the room. Keep that close at hand because, again, during the Smart Pitch session, we're going to ask you to select the best of the best by category and reward them with a trophy. After the Smart Pitch, we're going to have a panel discussion. Again, an opportunity to hear from all the audience who's assembled. We want to take advantage of this collective brain trust, right? Not just what happens here on the stage in terms of keynotes, but also to hear from you, the audience, to hear from channel partners, to hear from government and industry. Come together on the stage, but also open it up for question and answer from the audience. So if at any point during the panel discussions you want to sound off, you have a question, a challenge, you want to make a comment, don't hesitate to raise your hand. The moderator will recognize you and give an opportunity to give feedback. So after the conference here, we break for a busy day of one-on-one meetings. Lots more conversations are going to take place in the exhibition area over the course of the day. We do have workshops and we do have roundtables running concurrently with the one-on-ones. And then we're going to come together again later this evening for the gala dinner. Yesterday I had mentioned that we have a rain dance. We have all sorts of things going to make sure that the rain stays at bay and the weather cooperates with us. It's looking good. So at this point, we hope to go in the helipad and the lawns out front in the gardens, just along the sea. We hope to have the gala dinner outside this evening. If not, we'll be pulling back into this room. That's the plan B, the rain plan, so to speak. So one more time, let me make a pitch for the help desk. If at any point you need help this afternoon to facilitate more introductions, if you need help, don't hesitate to make yourself known to the Gates staff. That's what they're here for. All right. We are ready to kick off this morning. And like yesterday, we think the opening keynote belongs to someone who can step back and zoom out, who has a wealth of experience with IDC, a research group, and a special advisor to the ASEAN Economic Forum, someone whose network, someone whose experience and insight really covers a wide swath and can probably, better than most people, give a sense of the trends and directions in the marketplace. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would join me in welcoming to the stage our opening keynote presenter, Cyrus Darwala. Cyrus.
Thank you.
Welcome and thank you.
Good morning, good morning. I believe the crowd is still on the beach. It'll slowly trickle in. Firstly, to the chairman of the ASEAN Economic Forum, Pak Sachin, you should call him, the CEO for Gates and ASEAN Economic Forum, Ashish, distinguished guest, as well as, of course, the sponsors and the attendees. A very good morning to you. My presentation today, as the MC mentioned, is going to be multifaceted. I don't stand here before you as the global head for IDC, the data company. We also wear the hat of Blackstone because we are owned by Blackstone, and the investments that go into various companies through Blackstone. And my personal experience that I've been involved with 3 companies as of right now, Zensung, which is one of the fastest growing insurance lender, an insurer, Payki, which is Israel's largest security company, and of course, Little Wallet, which is out of Singapore. So the culmination of all of this will try and explain to you what is ASEAN plus 3 or 4 to begin with. What is it that you can expect from your ecosystem? And that's what Scale Up is all about. And what are some of the things to watch out for in your career, if you're a career person, or in your startup ability, if you're a business person? Of course, Asia Pacific by numbers, IDC, the D stands for data, and we had to come up with a little bit of data. Last night we were speaking to our esteemed panelists about not coming up with fuddy-duddy numbers, so these are some real numbers of real economies. And you will start seeing how large ASEAN or Asia really is. And again, these numbers show you what 24, 25 will hold. I keep emphasizing this is important because it does not matter what you do, does not matter what industry you represent or what startup or what scale-up community you're from. Every single thing I talk about today will affect you, whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. The reason being there is this socio-political imbalance in Asia. It is unfortunate that the number one economy of the world, the US, it's slipping. It's slipping financially because it's a huge amount of debt and what we call fiscal deficit and trade deficit. They print money, but that's artificially keeping them buoyant. Europe, you've all heard how there's a socio-political unrest. And what that means, immigration is a problem, healthcare is a problem, employment is a problem. And because of all of these factors, ASEAN suddenly becomes a huge investment opportunity. Also, of course, the fact that ASEAN plus 3 or ASEAN plus 4, ASEAN plus 3 stands for China, Japan, and Korea. And if you add India, which is not a part of ASEAN, but if you add India, it becomes ASEAN plus 4. And as you can see, by 28, you've got China clearly and distinctly as number one. So when you're trading, when you're a startup, when you're looking at incubation, you want to be able to skew yourself to two of the world's biggest economies right here in Asia, which is China and India. Indonesia, where we are, very proudly becomes number 5. The reason it becomes number 5 is because Indonesia is extremely rich when it comes to minerals and raw material. Indonesia is extremely rich when it comes to a young population, an educated population, 350 million plus. So Indonesia becomes a very focal point. But ASEAN has other gems. Indonesia is coming up rapidly. Vietnam is going through the roof. You have Japanese and Koreans investing very heavily there. The Thais and Thailand is doing exceptionally well too. In fact, if you look at most of the manufacturing, it is going towards the eastern corridor of Thailand, and the city of Sriracha is practically Japanese and Korean. It doesn't even look or behave Thai. That's how people are hedging themselves to become ASEAN-centric. And of course, the growth story continues. This year, 2024, has already shown us growth. 2025 will be a continuum of growth. But all of that comes with a slight price tag. And I'm not talking about the variations that you will see from a trade deficit. This risk comes from political tension, and this is nothing that you and I can do. China sends a ship in the South China Sea. The Philippines and maybe Indonesia or Japan have a problem. That affects you and I. There's nothing we can do about that. And this trips over, unfortunately, to trade. So the Australians have started saying the Chinese will have to pay more to come and study here. The ramification of that, China says the Australian will be applied more tax on their dairy items. Now, all of this trade quid pro quo is causing deficit for us. But luckily, ASEAN in a self-contained, or ASEAN plus 4 in a self-contained manner is enough, and there's buoyancy that we can actually do well. And of course, I'm not going to read through all of these social-political factors, but there are other issues, and I'm highlighting this because we are a technology forum right there. The erratic behavior. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, my beloved friend Gerald from Microsoft will be up as well. Meta. Now, why this erratic behavior is because when you look at your phone the next time, which will be soon, I'm sure, time yourself, and your attention span of browsing, clicking, or reading, mark this, will be between 35 to 45 seconds. You won't take more, you won't take less. So we are tuned to view, preview, look, evaluate in 35 to 45 seconds. So if you're a startup that is doing lending, if you're a bank, if you're an insurer, how dare you come up and saying, I'll come back to you in 3 to 4 days? That's just unacceptable. That's just not good business sense. So again, it defies what you've created in the startup economy. Whether it's buying something, whether it's selling something, whether it's browsing something, whether it's researching something, it doesn't matter. The attention span is smaller. Add to that, there are all of these tax regimes. If you're buying a Sony TV from Japan, some countries will charge you a hefty tax and some won't. If you're importing a car from Korea, there will be some countries that give you a tax break and some don't. And the entire ecosystem around it starts getting strained. So again, like I said, everything that happens socio-politically will affect you. So we came up with this heat map. What is growing and what is following? And very simply put, you've got the digital transformers, people who are just about starting to change. Now, all this nonsense that you hear from McKinsey and Boston Consulting, negate that. Leave that out. Digital transformation is your ability to take a process and digitalize it. That's it. If you're doing something manually, if you're doing something physically, you take that process, you automate it, you digitalize it, and that's digital transformation. Whether you're a small-scale manufacturer or whether you're a very large supplier like Coles or Dairy Farm, these are technology optimizers, and then these become what we call digital disruptors. And digital disruptors are the people who are leading the charter. They're leading the charter with various initiatives that you can actually emulate. And ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no shame in emulating somebody who's doing something better. China did not reinvent anything. They took a basic innovation, they saw that this can be improved upon, and they are now the number one in solar panels, number one in cars, number one in electric vehicles, number one in battery production, and so on and so forth. So the technology may have been invented somewhere, but they were able to improvise. So again, I tell you, if you're a startup community, what is it that you can learn from an existing startup that can help you become what we call a digital disruptor or a business disruptor? And the roadmap ahead in the next 4 or 5 minutes. We are here in the Gates Scale-Up Hub or Scale Hub because we are trying to create ecosystem, and I can't emphasize enough, wearing my IDC hat, if a bank or an insurer comes to me and says, Cyrus, there are 3 vendors that we are choosing from in startups. Can you help us choose? The person that has the ecosystem wins, undoubtedly. It does not matter if you're the biggest software company in the world, God forbid you're something old like Oracle or SAP. But if you're a new startup and you've built that ecosystem, you win. And I say it in every forum, solutions don't fail, implementations fail. Solutions have been independently tested over and over again, no matter, even if you're a one-trick pony, whatever it is that you do. implementations fail. So that's where, again, the ecosystem becomes extremely important. The one-trick pony also means if you've done something once, and if somebody buys you, invests in you, or somebody adapts you or adopts you, what do you do next to infuse that innovation? You slack off. That's not what Microsoft did. They keep pushing that envelope. That's what you see in AWS, that's what you see in Google. These are people, they are scientists who are continuously pushing the envelope, no different from the Samsung or the Apple iOS or OS downloads. They're continuously improving, and that is something that you need to do. And again, the delivery platform, and we'll talk more about that. And then we come towards the 800 million here in ASEAN and a few billion if you include ASEAN plus 3, the workforce. We tend to negate and forget. Majority of the times, if people are going to Vietnam for development and support or to Philippines, that's because that country and those ecosystems managed to create the workforce. Some countries, unfortunately, like Indonesia, miss out because they did not focus enough on the workforce transformation. And that is huge. That, again, is one of the reasons why the startup community in India is flourishing and thriving, because they have that workforce and that sheer momentum. And China, of course, is self-contained, and they have the sheer momentum. So workforce transformation is something that people often overlook, but you should not. And I thought I'll leave you with a couple of minutes of where we are seeing the startup community. Now, as I said, Blackstone comes up with a huge amount of investment. Our cousins, BlackRock, are even more active. And the IDG Ventures hat that I wear starts looking at the ecosystem. And just last year, almost about 1.8 billion was dispersed by us to various startups. That is a significant drop from 2021. 2021 was the heydays of investment in startup. After 2021, it stagnated. Last year, it actually dipped a little bit. So last year, the funding was few and further away than it was in the last couple of years. Just a little bit. Aggregators. I urge you not to become just a pure aggregator. Lazada, shopping, and Alipay, or Traveloka, or whatever it is. If you're an aggregator, you get some money, but it may not be enough. If you're what we call a developer fintech or developer portal, that is really where the money is. Most of the implementers that I come across, they are making money hand over fist because they are able to do a huge amount of customization and development. And of course, everything is being led by AI development. So it's a fallacy to think that AI is going to sunset jobs. In fact, it's moving a very large swath of jobs to AI-enabled solutions and AI-enabled what you would call solution brackets. So automatically, it tells you that no matter what industry you're representing, you may want to start developing AI capabilities. And the last one is the challenger fintech. And we call it the challenger fintech because they are challenging status quo. I'm speaking from experience. There was nobody that did motor insurance based on AI. If you drive, how you drove, how many trips you made, where were you, and how much you should pay as a premium as a safe or an erratic driver, I compute in a nanosecond, and I give you an insurance policy in a nanosecond. The minute you switch off your engine, your policy adjustment is there. And I get all of that data from your phone, even if you don't have Wi-Fi. That's called challenger. Nobody in the insurance world did that. We did it. We are now benefiting from it. So I'll leave you with this thought on if you're looking to start doing some disruption, what are some of the things you want to watch out for? What are some of the things that you want to do And how do you start? Doesn't matter whether you're an end user, doesn't matter whether you're a supplier, distributor, or the creator yourself. Organizational or country impact. Ashish and I are going to come up with what we call the Financial Inclusion Program very soon in November this year. And the only benchmark that we have is this Financial Inclusion Program that we are launching under the ASEAN Economic Forum. What impact will this program have on the countries? What program will it have on the people? And what program will it have on the industries? And then you come up with what we call the technology risk or the technology enablement. What impact am I going to create? What sort of timeline can I deploy that in? And what technology risk or advantage will I get using this particular startup or this particular software or this particular solution, so to say? So I'll leave you with that thought saying, if you're in a startup community, if you're a distributor, if you're a programmer, it doesn't matter. Please do not start your pitch and go to a venture capital or a private equity by saying, I think in the next 5 years my valuation. That is such a wrong thing to start with. It just shows you that you're not committed to that certain company or that certain, you don't believe in that certain product. All you want is a quick exit. Venture capitalists and people don't like that. In fact, that's a huge cross. But if you can turn around and saying, this particular solution that I've come up with solves this problem, and I think it's going to scale exponentially, and the total addressable market is X because of these reasons, you've got the eyes, the ears, and the funding from various organizations. So yet again, Gates Foundation, ASEAN Economic Forum, thank you very much. We'll be here throughout the day and have an absolutely brilliant and fruitful rest of the day. Thank you.
Cyrus, you talk about the importance of ecosystem for startups. I think the same could be said for a platform like Gates or like ASEAN Economic Forum. And that's very much about the people like you, the thought leaders, the experts who give so much back to the community. So thank you very much for your presentation, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Our next presenter, I want to welcome to the stage the Vice President for Europe and Asia at ManageEngine. You saw him yesterday on the panel discussion. This presentation is going to be more focused on the ManageEngine offer here at the event. He just needs to get mic'd up. So after that presentation, we do have one of our speakers was unable to join us. So in fact, he was able to create a video testimonial that he is sending from India, so we'll play that. And following that session of keynotes, we're going to be moving into the smart pitch. And this one changes a little bit because it is not necessarily the mature enterprises or the tried and tested solutions that are going to be pitching on the stage like yesterday. It's going to be the startups, those who come under the ScaleHub program. They're going to have a 60-second pitch. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would please give a very warm welcome to the Vice President for Europe and Asia at ManageEngine. One more time on stage, Arun Kumar. Arun.
Thank you, Brian.
There you are.
Very good morning. So my first slide is to you. So Brian, if you can stay on the stage for a minute. Please don't count the timing for this. I just wanted to pass on some feedback to Gates. I did, if you recollect, few years before. The moment I say I'm going to Bali, my boss asked me, why do you want to go for a vacation now? Then I go to my wife and say I'm going to Bali. She's asking, am I not included? Normal. I go to the airport in Chennai. The immigration officer says, happy vacation. I have to say, no, I'm going for work. First time I got a B1 visa for Indonesia. The immigration officer in Indonesia says, are you here for work? Yes, I'm here for work. Then I have to tell, opening the Gates page and see, I'm going to speak here. This is again normal, but what happened last night was not normal. I was walking in the street. Woman comes by and says, "Do you want massage?" I said, "No, I'm here for work." She says, "No, I'm also doing work." "No, next time I'll come on holiday and I'll take a massage with you." She said, "No need, get out." After all this, you want me to come on stage and talk about IT management? That requires a lot of motivation. But Brian, you have been a great host, fantastic audience. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity. Very good morning.
Thank you for the kind words.
So I'm not going to talk a lot about my company, but very quickly, just to understand where we are. So I'm from Manage Engine, part of Zoho Corporation. It's a privately held company, been in the business for 25 years, with more than 18,000 employees, globally well spread. And these are the major business units we operate today. Zoho offers business applications on cloud. It's been there since 2005. So any enterprise, any small and medium business, you want to automate, run your day-to-day operations, could be your sales, marketing, HR, finance, or teams to collaborate, we have the product. And Zoho cuts across more than 100 million users today. And I represent Manage Engine. So anything to do with IT management for, again, small and large enterprises, to manage your devices, infrastructure, service management, security, we have a suite of products, and we cut across more than 200,000 enterprises across the world. And that's at Manage Engine what we look today. For typically a digital enterprise, we act as the IT management platform on the back end to run their day-to-day operations seamlessly in terms of availability, performance, security, orchestration, and all. Well recognized in the industry. Most of the Gartners, Forresters, everybody knows Manage Engine, but more importantly, it's more than 200,000 enterprises who uses our product today. Truly a global company. We operate in more than 150 plus countries, have offices, presence across the globe. What's important today, more than being a global enterprise, we take pride in being a true technology vendor for a customer. We run our own data centers. It's not in AWS or Azure or GCP. The entire stack, in terms of the hardware, the software, the middle layer, everything is managed by us. The reason being, when you kind of like commit to your customers on how you are going to store, handle data, I think there is no need for us to rely on a third party, but we have a better control. And as a company, the philosophy is privacy first approach. We comply to all the required standards in the industries today. And we give assurance to our customers that we don't actually do any marketing with customers' data. The customer data belongs to the customers. That's our first principle approach. And being a technology company, we also believe we have to build everything by our own, not really kind of like, integrate outside. Because the moment you start integrating outside, particularly in the AI world, your data is used to train someone's language model, and that becomes a recipe for your competition. Is not the right approach. Your data should be to you. So even on AI, we build our own technology stack, and more importantly, we also ensure our customers consume AI without knowing that they are using AI. So part of our suits, enterprise IT management, we kind of like do predictive analysis, chatbots, natural language transition, all of that is part of our offering itself. And the vision being, right, be a truly IT management platform. None of our products are acquired, merged, built completely from the scratch, and see how you can actually contextually help customers to manage their IT on Manage Engine, or how do you run your business operations using Zoho. Of course, we understand enterprises also use other vendors, so it's natural that we also integrate into third-party ecosystem. That's a very high level about the company, but what I'm going to talk about, our experience, digital transformation is quite common. Companies have adopted, governments are pushing towards it, but there comes a little bit of maturity in digital transformation as well, and how businesses, how channel partners, how system integrators can actually stay relevant you all know the sports, right? You follow Formula One. You could clearly see that, right? Sorry. Yeah. You could clearly see there's something called a pit stop. The driver comes in, takes time to change tires, refuel, all of that. Back in 2000, it took more than 7 seconds. If you fast forward in 2020, it's less than 2 seconds. It took 20 years to reduce 5 seconds. And that comes with a lot of challenge because Formula One is a very regulated industry. Lot of constraints. You have to look at noise pollution, sustainability, driver well-being, cost efficiency. But that constant pursuit towards excellence, towards attaining that maturity is what driving that sport. Today, if you look at a digital enterprise goes through same challenge, right? The moment you are on digital transformation, some level you have to attain maturity, but that maturity comes with a lot of challenge, right? So you have technology disruptions comes every now and then, regulatory compliance, every country comes with regulatory compliance. Security is a huge challenge. 2 times you are on attack, you are out of your business. Resilience plays a big role. How do you survive disruptions? And how do you give a great customer experience? How do you give a great employee experience? A lot of these things factors today. And what we have seen, IT, which is actually on the back end, doing small support functions, gradually moving into strategic role, be a platform, but at decision-making level, how IT can actually derive outcomes for organizations. How do you build great customer experience? How do you build a good cyber security? How do you build incident response? How do you ensure you're compliant? All of that outcomes is very much required today. Naturally, partners, system integrators can ask, what is it for us? This is what I could say. We're all used to throw products to a particular problem. It works. But for every problem you throw a product, this is what happens. Right? Doesn't work. But you also have to optimize cost. But if you can actually make that work, showing outcomes, customers see you as God. Right? So there's a clear shift in how partners work today. We could definitely see in the last 10, 20 years. Started being transactional. You all created value proposition by deploying products, but now it's getting more than that. Right? So you have to build a lot of domain expertise, show outcome to your customers, and that's where the business model is heading into. And that industry on professional services consulting is already at 72 billion US dollars, growing at 6%. Of course, vendors carry a lot of strength. Partners also carry a lot of strength. It's about how do we collaborate, how do we complement each other, gives a clear success for everybody. As a vendor, we build great products, and someone like Manage Engine, we tell, right, we have so many products. You have the option to deal with multiple vendors, multiple contracts, but you can also deal with vendor like us, can do multiple things for you. And again, on Zoho, the same thing. So Manage Engine and Zoho cut across addresses a market potential of more than 500 billion US dollars. So you can always do more to customers with less, and obviously sell more to customers with the same vendor. So it's kind of like a win-win opportunity. But what I wanted to highlight are core values as a company today. So we are private, right? So absolutely no need to answer investors, stock market, but we have to do what is right for customers. We have to do right for partners. More than 2/3, 50% of our investments goes back to product, engineering, and technology. And one thing that really differentiates is we are running a marathon, not a sprint, right? That's a huge shift because it takes time to build a strong, resilient business model, organically grow, but still play in a very big market, make profitable for partners, make profitable for customers, and also to us, requires time, patience, and that's what the marathon we run today. We are already more than $2 billion in terms of revenue, profitably growing, and organically growing too. There's quite a lot we can do, but do what is right for everybody. And of course, as a vendor, we can only do less, but with partners, we can do more. Again, so disruptions come every now and then. It's all up to us whether you wanted to get swept or stay resilient. So with that, feel free to come and reach out to me. Happy to discuss and talk about what we can do and what we can also help to our customers in terms of digital transformation journey, digital maturity, do right things for everyone. With that, I'll leave the floor open. Any questions, happy to take it up. Sorry? Hopefully at some time. F1 tickets? Yes, we can consider that. Provided Gates move out of Bali and gives peace of mind for everybody. But if you don't have questions, one thing fundamentally, sorry, go ahead, sir. Right, so if you look at the last 25 years of journey, our biggest market was the US, followed by Europe. But in the last 5 years, we are seeing a big shift in terms of developing economies growing at a very big pace. Right, so markets like Middle East, Latin America, India, and Asia, our growth rates are at anywhere between 30 to 40% every year. Already developed markets kind of like hits little bit of a stagnation because for various reasons we all know social economic impact, but our investments today are on a lot on the developing markets. So the last 5 years we have opened up a lot of offices in ASEAN, Singapore being the HQ, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, we are opening offices, and our investments in terms of hiring local talent, expanding footprints is more on these developing markets.
Build within and not integrate. I mean, you showed that Rajnikant video as well. My question is, other than partners who are distributing and reselling for you, how can Zoho and Manage Engine help startups for them to undertake the journey? Thanks.
So thanks for the great question. We answered that yesterday. So for us, we look at startups in a very different way in terms of our support, because anybody who builds technology should also consume technology. So we offer a lot of free tools. We also have a startup program in Zoho. We give a lot of applications for 1 year. They can consume it. The reason being, build processes on day one. Don't really wait when you're ready to go to market, because every country comes with regulations. Every country comes with certifications, the way on how they want to operate in each market. For that, how do you handle data? How do you store data? Are you compliant? Are you ISO certified? Do you have Cyber Essentials certified? Are you Essential 8 compliant? These kind of challenges comes to startups. So our products help in terms of building the processes, have the right metrics in place with the necessary compliance and certification part, helps them to go to global scale on day one without need to restart everything. So we help in terms of making sure they consume the technology for them to go to the market. So if there is no questions, one thing I wanted to say, people generally don't buy products. They look at solving problems, but with right partners, if you can actually perform together, we can solve and give a lot of peace of mind. Thank you. So we are still in early stages. We are investing. Hopefully, you could see some news coming on our own operating system. And we are also investing in other stuffs when it comes to hardware and chip manufacturing. But these are in early stages of investment. Hopefully, you'll see news that will be coming up something concrete in the direction, because it takes time. Thank you. Hopefully, I'm on time.
You're on time. So before I let you go, I have a thought. While I'm watching you present, you made a comment about, okay, your family, your friends, the immigration officer, even the woman who sees you on the beach, thinking you're on vacation. So this journey, this rocket ship that has been Zoho for years, you look like you still enjoy it. You look like you still, the people, the products, you still have this passion, and you're having fun. So thank you very much for the presentation,
Yes,
and
thank you.
enjoy the rest of your holiday
Thank
here
you,
in Bali.
Brian. Appreciate it.
As I mentioned to you, we have one speaker, a special supporter here at the Gates event who was unable to travel, but has supplied a video testimonial. So if we can get that video ready, this comes from the Professor Abhay Karandikar, a secretary at the Department of Science and Technology for the Government of India. We just want to give him a few brief words by video.
Warm welcome to the Chairman, National Research and Innovation Agency, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Dr. Laksana Tri Handoka, Deputy Secretary General for ASEAN Economic Community, His Excellency Satvinder Singh, keynote speakers of this program, officials from ASEAN Secretariat member states, India and other dialogue partners, participants, ladies and gentlemen. India's science and technology collaboration with ASEAN was formally started in 1996 by establishment of ASEAN India Science and Technology Working Group. Initially, the science and technology collaboration activities were funded through the Government of India's ASEAN India Fund. Later in 2008, a dedicated ASEAN India Science and Technology Development Fund was created by India with an equivalent amount of $1 million jointly by our Ministry of External Affairs and Department of Science and Technology. This dedicated allocation has widened our association and increased the scope of the science and technology activities and its associated development. The ASEAN India Science and Technology Development Fund was further enhanced to an equivalent amount of $5 million, approximately 40 crore rupees, through an announcement by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, on the sidelines of ASEAN India Summit held at Malaysia in November 2015. The prime focus of ASEAN India Science and Technology Development Fund is to use our science and technology programs to strengthen the ASEAN India partnership for peace, progress, and shared prosperity. Our science and technology collaboration are ASEAN-centered, action-centric, and also aligned with the ASEAN Plan of Action on Science, Technology, and Innovation. This year, under our partnership, we have launched the Research Training Fellowship Collaborative R&D Call and also conducted a Women Scientist Conclave recently in Singapore. This is the fourth activity in the calendar year and a new initiative of India-ASEAN cooperation aiming to accelerate the performance of our startups. I strongly believe that this program will support our regional startups to collaborate with each other and bring out their strength and innovation in the market and products technologies. I sincerely appreciate the ASEAN Secretariat, our Ambassador for ASEAN, His Excellency Jayant Khobragade, ASEAN Economic Forum, and IIT Kanpur for their efforts in organizing this event in a short span of time. I also wish the participants from member states and the Indian startup community to make the best use of this platform for scaling up their innovation, growth, and outreach activities. My best wishes for the success of ASEAN India ScaleHub program. Thank you. Jai Hind.
So I think that video is the perfect introduction to our next session. This is Smart Pitch, but for those who are participating in the Scale Hub. This is, of course, the start of what is going to be a 5+ year program to connect opportunities, to bring together the startups from across the region. So this event, of course, the one-on-one meetings that take place here will continue above and beyond just what happens over the course of these 2 days. Gates, of course, does the Connect platform. This is connect.biz. So all of those who join the event, particularly the ScaleHub for the first time, will have online access to not just meet the hundreds of people here, but the thousands that participate in the Connect platform through Gates and through ASEAN Economic Forum. So we're really proud to have the support of the Indian government. We're really proud to have the support of the ASEAN Secretariat. And above all else, we're very proud to have some of the most innovative concepts, the best startups coming from India. And you're going to see many of them on stage right here, right now, as part of Smart Pitch. So what I'd like to do is ask Wendy if you would take your position in the corner of the room and queue up those in the first category. This is all about best design. So if you hear your name and Wendy has not seen you, I'd like you to make yourself known. If you can all step forward here to this corner of the room. Wendy, if you can move forward here. And you can bring RoboBionics, GoodGrams, Unico, Paving Plus, Fluix, Trigen, Technorius, Fibsol, and NeoMotion. If you are a startup and you heard your name and Wendy has not seen you yet, make sure that you meet over here and we have a microphone in your hand because we're going to call you on the stage. Those of you who saw this yesterday, you understand how it works. We give you a fixed period of time. You can do whatever you want. You can make a pitch. You can do a demo. You can tell a story. However you want to use that opportunity is up to you to best convey a sense of the problems that you solve, what your technology, what your solution does for people. All channel partners in the room were given a voting device. We're going to ask you after each category to select the best of the best. Can I see Wendy? Where are you? All right. Are we going to be ready to start the program in the best design category? All right. We're going to bring the PowerPoint presentation up. This session is going to have 4 categories. It is best design, it is best breakthrough, best innovation, and best growth booster. However you define those categories, that's the basis by which you evaluate these startups. Yesterday, we gave the more mature brands, those companies that have deployable solutions, we gave them a full 90 seconds. Here, we're turning up the pressure just a little bit more, but we think the startups will be comfortable with it because they're all about the elevator pitch. 1 minute, 60 seconds, and not 1 second more to convince you that they're deserving of one of these best-in-class awards. It is all about best design, best breakthrough, best innovation, and best growth driver. First up in the design category, I want to welcome to the stage RoboBionics. Are you ready for us? With a microphone in hand. RoboBionics? I can't hear you, Wendy. You need 5 minutes. I'll give you 60 seconds. All right, one more time. All of those who are participating in this program, RoboBionics, GoodGrams, Unico, Paving Plus, Fluix, Trigen, Technorius, Fibsol, and NeoMotion. Make your way forward here to check in with Wendy. We want to make sure you have your time on the stage. Just 60 seconds and not 1 second more. When we do these awards, like yesterday, this is not something that comes from Gates, not something that comes from me as an organizer, but it comes from you as the channel community. So for these awards, we're going to ask a special distinguished member of the community to come up and give that on behalf of all of you. So, Wendy, are we ready with RoboBionics? Oh my gosh, you're turning the pressure up on me now. I don't like how you turn the tables here.
It's all being done there.
All right, what I would suggest we do, if we don't have the first category, are you there? All right. Round of applause for our first presenter in Smart Pitch.
Thank you.
Who made it just in time.
Yes.
You know, I was ready to move forward. But I don't need to. You're here. All right. You know how this works. You saw this yesterday, right?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to have, when I say now, 50 seconds of silence. And then we're going to start to hear tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. It gets progressively louder. 60 seconds, you hear the bell, cut the microphone, and you're out.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Levlin from RoboBionics. Would you ever imagine how difficult it is to lose one or two hands? Definitely not. But the struggles of working without a limb are very real and very natural. Most of the people suffer through the pain of moving through it every day, and there's not a lot of solutions available for them. At RoboBionics, we are designing technology that can enhance their lives through bionics, AI-enabled, IoT-enabled systems, which help hospitals, governments, and organizations become more inclusive. I invite you all to join our mission and help make this world a more inclusive place, also in line with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you. Visit our booth, B30.
Thank you. And I think it's a really strong start because you illustrate very clearly that technology is about solving problems and at the end of the day, making life better.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your efforts and thank you for joining us at Gates.
Thank you.
That's RoboBionics in the design category. Up next, I hope they're in the room, is Good Grams. All right, there you are. I'm happy to see you. Like the others, just 60 seconds. You ready for us? It begins right now.
Hello, everyone. We are all aware how harmful processed white sugar is, right? It has stripped us from the taste we love the most, sweets. Introducing Good Grams, India's first health-conscious brand, revolutionizing the taste we love the most, sweets, with traditional Indian jaggery. A century-old recipe that is processed naturally and is loaded with vital micro and macronutrients. These little sachets are magic packed in them, with offers when indulged in a sequential journey of flavors. We invite you, all of you, to try it at our booth number 25. The excitement of the product is such that we converted Reliance, one of the world's biggest retailers, into our customer in just 5 minutes upon the product experience. How India gave yoga to the world, we are here proudly offering Indian jaggery to the world and establish better well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next in the design category, I want to welcome to the stage Unico, sharing sustainable happiness. Your tagline sets the bar very high.
Thank you.
The microphone's working?
Hello.
All right. You've got 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Hello, everyone. We are from Team Unico. So Unico is an amalgamation of unique and eco-friendly products. In one line, we are building sustainable products as an alternative to single-use plastic. And all products are being handcrafted with the help of marginalized communities. So we are creating dual impact. One is on the environment by providing sustainable alternative. And second one is creating the livelihood for the marginalized communities. So we are building alternatives for 3 categories. One is for event and conference. We can make any event completely zero waste and zero plastic. And second one is for the corporate. We are giving corporate as a gifting alternative. And third one is for the office utilities. So these are the categories in which we are building sustainable alternatives. And we are using different materials like recycled paper, cork, and nature-based alternatives to make planet happy. So visit our booth to see all the alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly on time. Our next presenter in the Best Design category is Paving Plus. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
Are you ready for us?
Yes.
How many seconds do you have?
60.
60 exactly. And it begins right now.
Thank you. Hi, this is Sheikh from Paving Plus. I'm the co-founder and CBO of Paving Plus. So we are in a mission to recycle waste plastic. All those plastic bottles, can you see? all those plastic bottles, we recycle all those plastic waste and we make construction materials like this. We make paver blocks, paver tiles, and different other products from plastic waste. So this is more durable. It is replacing the normal concrete of the construction industry, as well as it is reducing the carbon of the construction industry. We are utilizing ocean plastic as well as all other plastic available in the world. So please join us in the booth B29 to explore more. Thank you.
Thank you. You finished early, but no extra points for that. All right, from Design Paving Plus, we now move to Cluix. Welcome to you. Whoa! That's a dramatic entrance. All right, you made it though. Good job. You have 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Every year, 3.5 million people across the world lose their life by consuming contaminated water. Governments, private enterprises, and development agencies across the world are struggling with this issue. Traditional water quality testing labs simply cannot keep up measuring water quality at last mile at millions of tap connections. We have a game changer solution at Cluix. We are offering a decentralized, handheld, IoT-based water quality analyzer that tests multiple parameters of water quality and reports to the stakeholder directly. This innovative approach makes it feasible to measure water quality in the last miles effectively and efficiently. My name is Robin Singh. Join me at booth B47 to explore synergies. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next in the design category is Trigen. You'll join us on stage. Watch your step. All right, welcome to you. Like the others, exactly 60 seconds.
Can I get 5 seconds extra for the previous guy who did not utilize that?
5 seconds extra because the previous guy didn't use that. You startups always try to negotiate, and I'm telling you, the answer will be no. You have only 1 minute, and it begins right now.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. We have been hearing a lot about sustainability, but I'm sure all of you are aware of that every year, all of the nations put together, we are generating 4 gigatons of carbon dioxide. And we at Trigen are working specifically with the industry. So how do you like when I tell you that you can reduce your electricity and fuel consumption by 50% for your industrial heating and cooling? This hotel, everybody, every industry which is using heating and cooling, we have a solution. We manufacture the product. We will be able to cut down your carbon dioxide footprint as well as your electricity consumption by close to 50%. So help us grow to help the earth, to save the earth. You can discuss with us on booth B50.
Exactly on time. You didn't need the extra 5 seconds.
Thank you.
Trigen helps save the earth. Best design category. Up next is Technorius. Welcome to you. Design is the category. The time you have is 60 seconds. Simply press the green to go forward, and you see in front of you. Okay. We have not put the slides in there, so you'll have to just do the presentation direct. It's okay? All right? Yeah, there are no slides in there. Right. So you have to just do the 60-second presentation. Yeah, there are no slides in there. No slides. You have to do the pitch. Can you do it? Are you ready? All right. Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Good morning, all of you. So, salesroute.ai tackles the inefficiencies faced by sales and distribution business as well as MSMEs. So, with the leverage of AI, we ensure the revenue growth as well as lower the expenses by optimizing route, stock, credit system, etc. So if you see the market opportunity, it was valued 19.7 billion USD in 2019, and it is expected to be 36.7 billion in 2030. So we are looking for resellers in Southeast Asia. So please do visit at B54. Myself, Jasad Murian, signing off. Thank you.
And thank you. Next in the design category, Fibsol is our next nominee. Welcome to you.
Good morning, everybody. So if I say, time started.
You jumped the gun.
Okay.
I have to say your 60 seconds starts now.
Right.
Okay?
Sorry for that. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah. Thank you. If I say you could replace gunny bags of fertilizers into this small pouch, will you believe me? That's what Fibsol has done. We are redefining agricultural inputs using biotechnology as an intervention. So this is just 100 ml of biofertilizers having around 3,000 billion bacteria that's going to flood your soil and going to help you reduce your chemical inputs by, say, 50% and increase your yield by around 20% to 30%. And good quality food, which means we are retrieving the soil for its natural condition, and we are also improving the food productivity and the quality of the produce. So it's a technical platform which is patented and granted, and you can bring all types of biologicals and chemicals into this technology platform. It's encapsulation. And we are in booth number 16. Welcome to explore any opportunities together with you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're exactly on time. You can exit this way and leave the microphone. Our final nominee in the Best Design category is NeoMotion. Welcome on stage. You know how this works. Just 1 minute, and it begins right now.
Hi. Imagine a wheelchair user, a person who cannot walk and uses a wheelchair for their mobility. They need to depend on someone for outdoor mobility. If they need to go to school, if they need to go to college, they need to call somebody, get into a car, get into a tuk-tuk, fold the wheelchair, put it into a car. There are multiple steps involved. What we have done we've made a scooter attachment for the wheelchair, which converts your wheelchair into a completely roadworthy scooter. It will transform into a bike which you can use on roads, go to colleges, go to office, multiple things. There are 5,000 users in India who are using this today and are living a completely independent life. We work with governments, we work with corporates under their CSR programs. So we're looking forward to expanding this to Southeast Asian countries. If you want your population, disabled population to be independent, please visit us at booth number 28. Thank you.
Wow. Again, exactly on your mark. These startups, they've got a little bit of experience pitching. I can see that. That is the final presentation in the design category. We're going to ask all channel partners, all guests with a voting device to use it in just a moment and ask you to choose the best of the best. All of them are deserving of recognition. All of them did excellent pitches, but we have only one trophy. And I want to bring forward a member of the community to do the honor of giving that on behalf of all of us here at the event. I want to welcome the Deputy Undersecretary for Technology Transfer and Commercialization of Research and Development, the division at MOSTI. If you would join me on stage, Mrs. Farul Azida Binti Shahabuddin. Welcome to you and thank you for your support. You will be giving the design trophy, if you could step forward here. All channel partners, all guests, if you are not walking on stage with me, use your voting device to select the best design. Welcome, thank you. 20 seconds, make that selection right now. Press 1 for RoboBionics, 2 for GoodGrams, 3 for Unico, 4 for Paving Plus, 5 for Cluix, 6 for Trigen, 7 for Technorius, 8 for Fibsol, and 9 for NeoMotion. Best design. What do you think? And the winner is? Oh, we have a two-way tie between RoboBionics and Paving Plus. If you would both join me on stage to collect these awards. Bravo. Come on up. Cheers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture all together, and then we're going to do individual pictures with the award, okay? Okay. If I can ask you to stand in the center here, if I can ask you to come forward, and if you would please. Okay. Don't move. I'm going to ask you to join a group picture after. Don't move. Stay there if you would, please. Okay, here we are. All right, and I want to bring you back. Well deserved. You're going to share the award. We take one more picture. Congratulations, the best design winners here at the 60-second Smart Pitch. Okay, we're going to make a second award. We'll send that to you. Congratulations again, and thank you for joining me. Okay, one more time. That was the winner in Best Design. Now we move forward to the Best Breakthrough. However you define that, that's the basis of what you should be looking at as you evaluate these companies, these brands, these startups. In the breakthrough category, I just want to mention Nitro Dynamics, Arficus, RL Aerospace, Agronext, Easiofy, Galaxy, IoT Devices, Agnico, and Navars. If you haven't made your way to this corner of the room to get mic'd up, please do that now. Best Breakthrough. First up is Nitro Dynamics. We had great presentations in the first category. We've set the bar really high. Welcome to you. Let's see if we can continue that strength.
Thank you so much, and good morning to you as well.
Good morning. I have to say go. If you've learned anything from this presentation, right? How many seconds?
60.
And it only starts when I say now.
Greetings to all the wonderful people out here in the audience. I'll start out by asking a question. How many of us are in the defense and aerospace business? A quick show of hands, please. Well, almost nobody. Okay, I'll ask you another question. How many of us want to keep our country safe and secure? Please. More hands, more hands. I'll ask you another question. How many of us want to keep our country safe and secure while earning big bucks?
At the end.
Please raise your hands. I see more people now. That's more like it. So, what if I tell you that Nitro Dynamics Aerospace and Defense is a breakthrough scale-up which intends to partner up with our partners here at ASEAN to, who understand that keeping our nations safe and secure is very important. So I would request you to please visit our stall at B36 and where we can discuss how we can make an impact. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up in the breakthrough category is Arficus. If you would join me on stage. Welcome. How much time do you have?
60 seconds.
Do you have 61?
Yeah.
No. It's exactly 60 seconds and it begins right now.
Namaste. Arogyam paramam bhagyam, swasthyam sarvartha sadhanam. May everyone be blessed with good health, and good health makes everything else possible. With this, Arficus has created Medini, the world's first ever Gen AI software as a medical device. What we do, we provide an early prognosis, quick, rapid, affordable, and accurate diagnosis, and a preventive healthcare. That means a future health prediction for 567 diseases. We missioned ourselves for providing high technology-led healthcare access accessible for all, mainly focusing for poor, underserved people from fragile contexts, humanitarian crisis, older adults, and disabilities. What we have achieved 62% reduction in mortality rates, 75% reduction in diagnosing cost and diagnosing time, 94% reduction in diagnosing number of diagnosing tests, and obviously provided 128 remotest areas with high technology-led healthcare access. With this, Sandeep Sinha signing off with his tagline, Raho Chirayu, Jai Hind. You can reach to booth B37 for details.
Exactly on time. You didn't need the extra second.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the breakthrough category, up next is Maral Aerospace. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
Like the others, you know the opportunity.
Yeah.
Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So we are trying to address the two major challenges which the drone industry faces. So limited endurance. Typically, if you see 2 to 3 hours is the maximum endurance and the range of up to 50 kilometers. So that's what we are trying to address using solar powered drones. So our is a fixed wing solar powered drone, which gives you an endurance of more than 12 hours, as well as the one-way range of up to 200 kilometers and total operational range of around 1,000 kilometers. So we are trying to address major use cases for our drone is disaster response, where the time basically time is the essence. So we are longer time in the air to finding the survivors is easier for us. The second use case what we are trying to address is giving the telecommunication network to the remotest areas. We will be for almost 60 seconds so almost 12 hours in here, so we can give that link, communication link to the remotest area. The other use cases are in agriculture, in precision agriculture, in environmental monitoring and all. And all, please to know more, please visit us at booth 30.
Did you hear the bell?
Yeah?
Did you hear the bell?
No.
No, you didn't hear the bell. Okay. All of us heard the bell.
Thank you.
Your time is up, and thank you for the presentation. Up next is AgroNext in the breakthrough category. You hearing clearly?
Yeah, very clear.
How much time do you have?
60 seconds.
All right, and it begins right now.
Good morning, everyone. Have you ever fallen sick? Answer is probably yes. Imagine a country which does not have blood testing laboratories, MRI and CT scan infrastructure. Now think of 500 million smallholder farmers growing crops in 1.5 billion hectares of the land, and they have hardly got 10,000 soil testing laboratories. It costs $25,000 minimum to put up a soil testing lab, and each test costs almost $30. AgroNext, in partnership with IIT Kanpur, has developed a breakthrough soil testing technology that can test soil in just 90 seconds and in under $1. That's the innovation we have. I request you to visit our stall at B34 to know and support farmers. Thank you so very, very much.
And thank you. Great presentation. Up next in the breakthrough category is EasyOFi. Like the others, you have just 60 seconds. Are you ready for us?
Yeah.
And it begins right now.
Yeah, hello everyone, I am Meenal. So how many of you have done your CT scan, PET scan, X-rays done? I know everyone. And how many days you have waited to get your reports? 1 day, 2 day, 3 day? I know your problem, guys. So we have to wait a lot for the reports. We got this problem, and this is how our product, Imagix AI, had stepped in. It brings the bridge between the gap of radiologists being not available. So as soon as the scan is being done, we have supported it with this 3 solution. One is cloud. As soon as the scanned image has been uploaded, it is made available to patients. Second is AI. As soon as I don't know.
You did first. You almost got to second. How many do you have? 1, 2.
3 solutions.
3. I will give you 3 extra seconds. 1. What is it?
So AI to assist doctors, radiologists, then cloud to make immediate access of all the scans, and third is AR VR to view the reports in 2D and 3D. So meet me at booth number 38.
She got it.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more, they can visit you at which booth? Yeah. Where are you located out there?
Booth number 38.
All right, thank you very much, EasyOFi. Our next presenter in the breakthrough category, Galaxy. Welcome to you. Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Hi, I'm Ritik. I'm from Galaxy Space. We are a space and defense technology company. So essentially in the space domain and the geospatial, it's a $15 billion industry. You have something known as a EO, which is an electro-optical, which is something that you see typically in your Google images, and something that we have, which is called a SAR. So now everybody in the world has a SAR satellite which is separate and an EO satellite which is separate. We're the first company in the world which is building a single satellite which has got a SAR and an EO in the same one. And what's interesting about us is that we have it on across multiple platforms. We just don't have it for the satellites. We've also done it for drones. We've done it for HAPS, which is a high-altitude pseudo satellite, aerial platforms, and of course, we'll be launching our satellite next year. There are many use cases for it, for which I'll be happy to explain to you in our booth at B40. So please do visit us. It's interesting, and geospatial is very interesting as well. So happy to explain the use cases to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly on time. Up next is Ayati Devices. Staying in the breakthrough category. Let's see if you can break through the pack. You've got 60 seconds to convince the audience here that you've got the most compelling breakthrough. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Diabetes is the most prevalent disorders across the world, and it is also most prevalent in the Asian region. Every odd seconds, there has been an amputation which is happening across because of neuropathy. Neuropathy is a condition which happens because of the sensory nerve loss damage. Here is a device which assesses the severity of a neuropathy at a go within 5 minutes and gives you the results within 5 minutes. And also, with a single charge, it can be used to test almost 80 to 100 patients. This is the most useful device for the pre-screening for the physicians, which is available across the world. This device, it gets connected through Bluetooth via an app, and all the data, it rests on the cloud, which is the most essential thing for the physicians now in today's technology world. Please visit at B32 to know more about this device and explore more. Thank you.
Thank you. It's remarkable how concise these presentations are. Startups know exactly what they're doing in 1 minute. And Nicole is our next presenter in the breakthrough category. If you would join me on stage. No? Okay, we move forward to the next presenter. Okay, I understand we do not have the presenter in the room, so we're going to move forward to Navars. All right. Watch your step. You've got just 60 seconds. You don't get 2 minutes. You don't get to collect the time from the previous.
I thought I would.
No, it doesn't work that way. You have 1 minute, and it begins right now.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm from Nawaz. As you have heard, almost 3 to 4 companies came from aerospace and defense, and they're all building innovation. There are more than 200 companies in India. And if you look at Morgan Stanley's or PwC's report, you're talking about a $1 trillion space economy by 2040. Now, do you realize that what kind of human capital you need to run this, right? If you do a back-of-the-envelope calculation, the estimates are that you need 1 million plus resources by 2040 on an annualized basis to serve this defense and space market. We at Nawaz are in the skill development process of helping students from schools and colleges, both on the awareness side, innovation side, and also making them industry ready for adopting into this larger organization. Meet us at B21, and we can discuss more in details how we're expanding globally today. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was the final presentation in Breakthrough. Before I ask all the channel partners and guests with a voting device to select the best of the best in the category, I want to bring forward a distinguished member of the community to do the honor of giving this award on all of your behalf. A senior officer at the Science and Technology Division for the ASEAN, Mr. Sebastian, if you would join me on stage. Mr. Sebastian? Here you come. Thank you very much. We have not yet met. They just passed me a card with your name. So it's an honor that you join us on stage to give this award. The category is Breakthrough. Channel partners, make your selection right now. Press 1 for Nitro Dynamics, 2 for Ephricus, 3 for Morale Aerospace, 4 for AgroNext, 5 for EasyO5, 6 for Galaxy, 7 for Ayati Devices, 8 for Nicole, who missed the presentation, and 9 for Navars. What do you think? Time is up. It's not a clear choice, is it? Let them decide. The winner is Congratulations to Galaxy. Congratulations to you. Okay, if I can ask you to stand in the center here, and we give the award, and look out for the photo if you would, please. One more time, the best breakthrough. Sebastian, thank you so much, and congratulations one more time to you. Okay, moving forward to our next category. It's all about innovation. CloudWorks, QA-Mate, Moonhive, Dynamic Zaptics, Elantra Solutions, Chimertech, Torrential, and Xterra are the nominees in this category. If you heard your name and you haven't already made your way over here to see Wendy to get mic'd up and checked in, please do that now. First up in the innovation category, I want to welcome to the stage CloudWorks. You've seen many presentations before. You know how this is going to run.
Drill, yeah.
You've got 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yuvraj. I'm the founder of CloudWorks. By 2030, I strongly believe that everything about our life, our work, our schools, our factories will be converted to 3D in the form of digital twins. Now, this is not something far-fetched. This is already happening around us. But the problem is that only 0.0007% of factories have implemented digital twins. Now, there's a big reason for this, because it's hard, it's complicated, it requires costly developers and resources. This is what we are trying to solve. At CloudWorks, we've created a no-code platform that allows you to create digital twins in weeks instead of months, at 1/10 the cost of your traditional solutions. And the best part, it doesn't require any GPUs, so you don't have to buy those expensive PCs, those expensive machines to run these digital twins. We've been spread across 7+ countries. We've covered 20+ domains ranging from automotive to manufacturing to smart cities to warehouses and terminals. So connect with us at booth B19 and let's explore synergies in 3D. Thank you.
Thank you. It's remarkable to me the number of startups who exactly hit their mark at 60 seconds. Up next in the innovation category is QA-Mate. If you'd join us on stage, welcome to you. How much time do you have?
60 seconds.
And when does it begin?
When you say yes.
Right. It begins right now.
Good morning to all. I'm John Sharon, founder of QA-Mate. India is one of the manufacturing hub, as you know, and we are one of the most successful exporters in the world, especially to US market. So from the manufacturing industry, especially from the garments and the export category manufacturing, we came across with a AI-powered enterprise mobility solution, which is mostly concentrated towards the quality control, compliance, and asset management, which is the one part most of our smaller manufacturers are unable to achieve their global market target. So we are targeting the manufacturing companies across Asian countries to grow up and grow with us. So meet us at our booth C22. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Moonhive. Moonhive, I understand, is for some reason not with us in the room, so we're going to move forward. Are we good here? No? Okay, this one's going to be a short category. Zaptics? All right, here we go. Less competition for you. That's good. Ready?
For sure.
You have 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Hi, good morning. I'm Yash, representing Zaptics Research. The ASEAN market is a $4.7 billion opportunity for electric vehicles, and it has only started here right now. You can see electric vehicles penetrating the market in the coming years, and it's only going to grow. We at Zaptics Research, we provide technological solutions and innovative design solutions for your electric vehicle dreams. So if you're a company who's involved in any kind of electric vehicles, be it for marine, be it for aerospace, or for ground vehicles, this is the opportunity. Let's meet at booth B35 today and discuss how we can move ahead together. Thank you.
Thank you. You finished that with 18 seconds remaining. You know your product and you can do that efficiently. Elantra Systems is our next nominee in the innovation category. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know what you're going to do, but I still have to give you 60 seconds, and it starts right now.
This elegant conference room today in Bali, our houses, all our offices are built up of a dense network of TMT bars and adhesive glues. We at Elantra Solutions are India's first ever manufacturers of epoxies that help reinforce concrete, thereby making structures much more sturdier. The ASEAN market so far has been relying on Western imported epoxies that cost more than 5 times compared to our epoxies. And while our Make in India products conform to all the European norms, are right now being sold in India and Nepal. If you are here to introduce revolutionary construction products to your market and wish to partner with a company that is growing at almost 103% year on year, then I invite you to visit my stall B14. Thank you.
And thank you. Great presentation. Up next, Chimertech, I want to join me on stage, if you would, please. Like the others, you have just 1 minute to make your most convincing pitch that you're deserving of a best-in-class innovation award. Your time starts now.
Hi, I am Dr. Rahul, co-founder and CEO of Hypertech Private Limited. We are in the business of making milk greener and cleaner. We develop products for disease management solutions and breeding management solutions in cattle. Our state-of-the-art technology can detect multiple parameters in milk in real time while collecting milk itself in a milking machine. So our technology can detect pesticides, antibodies, disease markers, as well as pregnancy markers. Going forward, we are developing product that can detect multiple markers for heat stress and immunity of the milk, immunity of the animal. Our technology can also detect multiple parameters that can be early detected in disease in animals. And our state-of-the-art technology, which can reduce methane emission in cattle. Methane is one of the largest, cattle produces large methane. We prevent it by removing the methane at 93%. Thank you.
And thank you. That was Chimertech in the innovation category. Up next is Trenchel. Pardon me.
Hi.
You have 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So in this digital era today, everything is going online. Every service, be it government, be it private, is getting digitized. But still, we are living in an era where our credentials are very traditional. We get physical PVC cards for our national IDs. We get physical forms of degrees, diplomas. The problem with them is they are disconnected from internet, which leads into a data siloed environment. And everybody and every market is not able to run algorithms on top of them. So we at Trenchel are building a complete end-to-end digital identity solution. And as per the recent McKinsey report, a digital identity in a country can unlock a potential of up to 13% of GDP. So we are at booth B31. Please do visit us if you want to know more about how our stack can help you credentialize and give you a digital infrastructure to solve the problem of credentials in your country and break the silos in the market. Thank you.
Thank you. And Xterra is our next nominee in the innovation category. I want to welcome you on stage. You have 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
You all have experienced the power of ChatGPT. But imagine if it could not only answer your questions, but can also take action on your behalf. It could be as simple as opening the door for you. That's what we are making possible through Xterra Robotics. I am Aditya, I am CEO of Xterra Robotics, and we are building advanced legged robots that can navigate challenging terrains at ease. We have built India's first commercial quadruped robot and one of the world's most affordable quadruped robot. And these robots are currently being used by academicians as a research platform. And we are not just limited in research, we are partnering with leading industry partners in India as well as Singapore for inspection, security, and surveillance. Imagine one of the robots inspecting a live plant and what impact it could have in reducing the cost of downtime. Visit us at booth 45 and we can together shape the future of robotics and AI. Thank you.
And thank you. That was the final nominee in the innovation category. All channel partners, keep your voting devices close at hand. We're going to ask you to make the selection in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to bring forward a special guest to give this award on behalf of the channel community. So can I ask Professor Ankush Sharma from IIT Kanpur if you would join us on stage to do the honor of giving this award? Professor Ankush Sharma. Welcome to you, sir. Your job here is to represent everyone in the room and give the Best Innovation Award. Those of you in the room, your job now is to make your selection. 20 seconds. Vote now. Press 1 for CloudWorks, 2 for QA Mate, 3 for Moonhive, 4 for Dynamics, 5 for Zaptix, 6 for Atlantor Systems, 7 for Chimera Tech, 8 for Trential, and 9 for Xterra. Best innovation in the group. What do you think? All are winners. That's a good answer, but we only have one trophy, and the winner is? Congratulations to CloudWorks. Congratulations to you. If I can ask you to stand here. Okay, and we look forward. Yep, move over just one more. There we go. And look here for a picture. Okay, one more time. CloudWorks, the Innovation Award winner. Professor, thank you for doing the honor of giving that award. Okay, our final category for this morning's Smart Pitch, it is Best Growth Booster, however you want to define that. These are products, services, and solutions that allow you to step up your growth. Excubated is our first nominee in this category. You've seen many presentations before. Yes. You know the drill.
Yes.
You've got 60 seconds.
Hello.
Hello. You've got 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
I have a presentation as well.
You have a presentation as well?
Yes.
There's no presentation in there.
It's multiple products, so I would like to have it if possible.
Wendy, in 60 seconds, can we do the presentation or no? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll try to set it right.
Yep.
You exit here, and we'll bring you back at the very end, yeah?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay? Okay. Multiple inputs for me is a bit difficult. Answer Robotics is our next nominee in the Best Growth Booster category.
I have a presentation.
I understand you have a video.
Yeah, 3 slides.
Oh my gosh. 3 slides?
Yeah,
oh my gosh, they're there. Okay. It's magic. All right.
Hi.
Your 60 seconds. It starts right now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Karan. I represent Answer Robotics. Answer Robotics stands for Autonomous Navigation System for Control Environment Robots. What we do is we redefine internal logistics. How we do it? We make fleet of AMRs, autonomous mobile robo, which range from 250 kilograms to 1250 kilograms. And what we do is, you can see on the right, a flexible assembly line, and then a trolley pickup on the left-hand side, and then we have a pulling cart. So this is all related to Industry 4.0 technology, where humans and robots work together. Thank you. You can visit us on booth 41. Thank you.
Thank you. Leave the clicker with me. The microphone goes this way. Up next in the Growth Booster category, Revex. If you'll join us on stage. Okay, there we go. You have 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Hi everyone, I am Ankit, co-founder at Revex. How many of you have heard about battery fire incident or EV fire incident? So at Revex, we make technologies which make EV or battery safer. We make battery management system from 12 volt to 1000 volt version, so which powers your car, bus, truck, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, energy storage. We make technology from hardware, firmware, software. Visit us at booth B49 to explore more. Thanks.
Thank you. You have 30 seconds remaining. You only need 30 seconds for the pitch, not a minute. We should keep that in mind for the next one. Moving forward, Symmetricals is our next nominee in the Best Growth Booster category. Welcome. Say again?
Presentation.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Can you do the presentation without it? Okay. I'll give you a few extra seconds. You have 65, 66 seconds, and it begins right now.
Hello, everyone. So right now, everyone is talking about EV. EV is everywhere. But no one talks about the wastage of the EV and its charger. So even if you are going to purchase a EV charger, you are going to feel that, okay, after 2 years, you have to purchase it again, and because of the wear and tear problem. So how do you solve these problems? We came up with a unique design of wireless charger. You can charge your EV, just park your vehicle over the charger, it will start charging. And how it is good for the environment, because this charger can last longer than the wired charger, and the efficiency of the wireless charger is better than the wired charger. So if you want to explore more about the wireless charger, please come to booth number 24. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. You didn't need the extra seconds. Blockstash is our next nominee in the Growth Booster category. Join me on stage under the bright lights. Oh. Microphone is working. The timer is working. The audience is working.
Yes,
Your
yes.
60 seconds starts now.
So the global cryptocurrency market is 2.39 trillion. And because of its anonymity of cryptocurrency, the large chunk of it is being utilized by illicit activities. And doing any forensic investigation and regulatory task is a really tedious and very tough task. So we at Blockstash developed a crypto crime investigation and forensic solutions for all the law enforcement agencies and compliance and regulatory peoples. So with the help of network graph, analytics and machine learning based taggings. So our target audience is law enforcement agencies, system integrators, compliance and regulators, and crypto exchange. So please meet us at booth 58. So thank you very much.
Blockstash, thank you very much. Up next in the Growth Booster category is Febno. Welcome to you. Do you have slides? Do you have a video? Let's see. Oh, it's there. And your 60 seconds begins right now. Wait, the video works, but the microphone doesn't. Hold on. Oh my gosh. All right. Come behind here. Can you hear me? All right. I'll start over again. Your 60 seconds begins right now.
We have solutions for 3 things, all of you. Do you need a flexible, customizable, ready marketplace for your tech business? Second one, really do you want to resell leading tech solutions at a good margin? Or do you have a great product for global market? Then you have solutions from us.
SaaS Order. Maximize the full potential of B2B SaaS commerce. The 2 main highlights of the platform are: it is a real-time B2B procurement platform for tech businesses and also a personalized cloud marketplace for tech products. Explore over 1,000 subscriptions with discounted pricing. Integrated with multiple global vendors in a unified platform. Unveil your custom cloud marketplace with great features. Custom branding with flexible marketplace options. Global market accessibility. Local billing options in many countries. Diverse product catalog with automated sales processes.
Is the video finished?
Finished. Please visit the booth number 55. Thank you.
And your presentation is finished. I give you a few extra seconds because of the microphone issue. If you can step down this way, thank you very much to Febno. Up next is Karshing in the Growth Booster category. You ready? 60 seconds, and it begins right now.
Morning, everyone. My name is Talia. Please raise your hands if you own a car. Perfect. What if I told you that if you wrap your car with your favorite brand today, for example, Netflix, you'll get Netflix for free? What if I told you wrap your car with the brand of your health insurance and you'll get your health insurance for free? If you would like to know more, visit us at B13 and get some business cards of mine. Thank you.
Thank you. A question, if you wrap your car with Gates and ASEAN Economic Forum, what do you get?
You'll get the tickets for free.
Aperio Tech Energy is our next nominee in the Growth Booster category. Aperio, if you'll join us on stage.
Hi.
You have 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
And it begins right now.
Right. Hello, everyone. I'm Kalpit Prajapati. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aperio Energy. Aperio Energy is an energy tech startup where we are developing 100 watt to 15 kilowatt of vertical wind turbines. Now, vertical wind turbines that go alongside complementary with solar solutions. So we've built our turbines in a way to serve the microgrid and the mini-grid markets. And it's again designed for the wind speeds of 5 to 6 meters per second. And we see a good amount of growth opportunities here in the ASEAN market. And we're looking forward to connect with channel partners for that. Thank you so much. You can visit us at booth number 33. Thank you.
Thank you. SL Pro is our next nominee in the Best Growth Booster category. Welcome on stage. Like the others, you have just 60 seconds.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Your 60 seconds begins now.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aditya from Excel Pro, and namaste to all of you. So I start with the Department of Thailand is deploying our product. To begin with, we provide world's fastest zero-trust network access products, competing with companies like Checkpoint, Fortinet, and Avantis. So we developed a technology called hybrid performance acceleration architecture, due to which we claim ourselves as the fastest ZTNA products. To know exactly how we do it, I invite you to visit our booth, and I will explain you how we are doing it. And we are getting a very good traction. People are getting benefited with faster, secure access. So see you at the booth and to discuss more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With 4 seconds remaining. Good presentation. And that is the conclusion of the Best Growth Booster nominees. We move forward now to the 9 choices at hand. Before we ask you to make that selection, I want to bring forward another special member of the community. Yes, Wendy?
We have to do excubated.
Ah, we can do that? All right. Excubated. We have that presentation. We have the slides.
Is it up?
Can we do that? Yes, no? Let's see. Do we have the slide deck set up? So I have to tell you, this one, you're turning the pressure up on me. So I received 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. I actually got a few messages here with PowerPoint attachments asking if I can put this on screen right now. So I'm doing my best. If we can get, yeah, we've got the PowerPoint presentation here. Yes, all right.
Thank you. Thanks for
All right, listen, thank you for your patience. I'm glad we could set it right. Your presentation is there.
Yes.
The audience is here. Microphone is here. And 60 seconds starts now.
Good morning. I'm Praveen Nair, founder and managing director of Excubated Business Solutions. And we are present across different regions, but Southeast Asian market is totally new to us. We look forward for synergies here. So we do digital software, extended reality, as well as gaming services, and we hold a few products as well. So the first product is Cortec, which is an augmented reality-based AI system, which is fundamentally similar to what you have experienced in Jarvis in Iron Man. So I'll explain it later when we meet at the booth. Yeah, the video is not somehow working. So the second product that we have is Zage Care, which is an AI-enabled agency automation system for elderly care and care services. We're launching this product in UK as well as in India. we are looking for partners for this as well. Relief Buddy is the other product, which is a demand-supply platform that we have. And you can meet us at booth 58, where we will explore details.
All right. Thank you very much. You can leave that, leave that with me if you would, please.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring back that list of the nominees in the Growth Booster category. To do the honor of giving this award, I want to welcome to the stage the CEO from First IITK, Dr. Nikhil Agrawal. If you would join us on stage to do the honor of this award, sir, thank you. I do not ask for a round of applause because you win no award. Your job is to give it. You see the 9 choices in front of you. Channel partners, go ahead and make your selection right now. The best growth booster. Press 1 for Excubated, 2 for Ansgar Robotics, 3 for Revex, 4 for Symmetricals, 5 for Blockstash, 6 for Febno, 7 for Karching, 8 for Aperio Energy, and 9 for SL Pro. Best growth booster. What do you think? You think number 10? Easy choice because there are only 9, and the winner is? Congratulations to Ansgar Robotics. Congratulations to you. Okay, if I can ask you to take position right here, move over just a bit. Move over just a bit if you would, please. Yeah, okay. And then we take a picture here. Okay, congratulations to you, and thank you, sir. Okay, one of the series of notes that they passed to me is somehow there was an oversight with a few of the startups. So what we're going to do is we're going to forget about the category, forget about the timer. I've lost control anyway, so I just want to set this right and bring them forward to do a quick pitch if they would. Ambiator, are you with us? Welcome to you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, I will give you 60-ish seconds to make your most convincing pitch. No category, just tell them what you're all about and where they can see you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jiten Desai, or you can call me JD. We are all about cooling without warming the planet. The company is called Ambiator Private Limited. This room that you see being cooled right now, it's about 700 square footage. We reduce the energy bill for cooling by 80%. We are building solar-ready solutions in 5-ton systems, fully manufactured in India. And we are ready to scale up in all climatic zones. And one note I want to make about a city like Bali is this is not a city where you need 2 layers of clothing. And that's something I'm trying to educate the market on, being comfortable with the temperature zones you're in. And we reduce electricity bills by 80%. We don't use any compressors, no harmful refrigerants. We accelerate the decarbonization goals and sustainability goals for corporates. And we are very excited to share what we are doing from India for the world. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Up next, no category, no rules. CodeMate AI, if you would join us on stage to do your pitch. Again, this is all about what you do and where they can see you to learn more, okay?
Sure.
Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Ayush Singhal, founder of CodeMate AI. So think of CodeMate as Grammarly for programmers that helps the developers in writing, fixing, and maintaining their code base. So we are a generative AI-based pair programmer that automates your entire development workflows from generating code, writing test cases, creating documentation, or even generating the entire documentation for your code. So we are the first ever developer tool having the context awareness across your entire knowledge base, whether it is code bases, documentations, or GitHub repositories. You can connect as many lines of code, even billions of lines of code, within few seconds and have search and chat across it within your ID. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you want to know more, come across a booth number 64, just outside the hall.
Great. And no category, no rules. Ostic Pharma is going to do their 60-second pitch. Welcome to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Hello.
What do you do? What are you all about? And where can they see you to learn more? Your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, good morning to all of you. I am Dr. Vinay Saini from Austic Pharma Private Limited, Scion IIT Bombay. We have been working in medical diagnostics and devices. We started our journey during COVID pandemic, and before this, we got some grants for the tuberculosis. As you know, the tuberculosis is highly prevalent in 4 high-burden countries, India, China, Brazil, and South Africa. And we have been working on these things, and we are having actually collaborations with Latin America and other countries. So we introduced our product COVID-19 during pandemic time period and donated around 15,000 tests across the different hospitals in India. We are working in leptospirosis, neglected topical disease, filariasis, and matching the diseases which are quite common in Indonesia, India, and South Africa, and also in Latin America and North America. So we are also working in vector-borne disease and future pandemics like Zika virus. So let us join hands for the innovations and so that we can actually introduce the product in international market. Please visit us at B18 booth number. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, you speak really clearly, but really fast. So I think you had like 3 minutes worth of presentation in 1 minute. Thank you very much. Anikal, I understand we had an oversight and missed you during the category. So Anikal, are you? There's a video. Okay, do we have, this is the final Smart Pitch presentation, I believe, unless someone passes me another note. No video. Do we have a presentation? No presentation? Do you want to come up and do a 60-second pitch? Come on, Wendy, come here, come. All right, so Wendy behind the scenes has been working very hard. You have, yes. So it's only fair because every time something is missed, anytime something is in the queue and I'm waiting, I turn and I look to you. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Wendy for pulling this off. This is a really, really difficult job, a tall challenge. Do you have something to say? All right, I'll give you 30 seconds. How's that? Go ahead.
Hi, we are gays and we connect. Come to us, right? Wherever you are, we'll be there. Thank you.
Not quite sure what she's selling, but it sounded good. All right. Wendy, thanks so much. All right, at this point, we're going to change the furniture on the stage, if you would, because we're going to start the panel discussion in just a moment. I want to thank again all of the nominees, all of the speakers as part of Smart Pitch. Like I said before, we try to gamify it, right? I mean, we have an awards program, we have a countdown clock, but really the core value of the session is in a rapid fire way to see some of the best and brightest here at the event. It's not possible for you through the exhibition area and through the limited time we have to really understand the full scope of the products, services, and solutions that are here. But we hope the Smart Pitch session has given you an opportunity. If you're inspired by what you see and hear, don't hesitate to make yourself known and to approach them at the exhibition area. As we change the furniture here, as we get ready for the panel discussion, just a quick reminder of what this is all about. The session belongs to a number of the top voices that we've identified in our community. We want to bring them on stage and give them an opportunity to share their insight and experience with you. But it also belongs to those in the audience. So if at any point you wanted to make a question, you have a statement or sound off, just simply raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone to you and you can ask a question or make a statement. A little bit later this afternoon, we are going to have a series of roundtables and workshops. Do you have something for me? We'll be after. Yep. Can you write this down for me? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Just a quick photo. Really, I'm telling you, great presentations, a great job, but you really turned the pressure up on me this time. You flipped the script and turned the tables. It was not easy to pull this off, but you guys have so many compelling products and services that it was great to have you at the event. Go ahead and make your photo now. Let me make a brief statement about what's going to happen a little bit later today. We have a series of one-on-one meetings taking place in the exhibition area. We are going to have also a workshop running at 5 o'clock that is hosted by BPE. It's a deep dive in some of their energy solutions. If you are not enrolled for that, there are still, I believe, a limited number of spaces available. 5 o'clock, if you're interested, go talk to the team from BPE, and that will take place in the workshop room. A little bit later, we have a meeting coming together for a little bit of official business as part of the Gala Award ceremony tonight. And then we're going to have some entertainment, good food, and above all else, you're going to be in really good company. So I think the weather is going to hold, and we are going to be able to meet for a gala dinner outside along the sea. So fingers crossed, we'll make that announcement this afternoon when we get the all clear from the hotel to set up. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for all of the scale-ups here at the event. All right, thank you very much to all the scale-ups here. Before we get to panel discussion, I want to make one more special announcement and bring forward a few key players in putting all of this together. As we mentioned, this is the start of a multi-year initiative to connect India and ASEAN and startups around the world to leverage the power of the channel community. There is going to be a signing of a memorandum of understanding between the players that officializes this organization and carries us into future years and future events. I want to welcome Professor Ankush Sharma from IIT, if you would join us on stage. Professor Ankush Sharma, IIT in Kanpur. Sachin Gopalan from the ASEAN Economic Forum. Sachin, if you would join us on stage. And we are welcome the Ambassador of India to ASEAN, His Excellency Jayant Kolishorabi, is joining us as well. If you would step on stage. Gentlemen, thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us. Sachin, I had mentioned this is a signing of a memorandum of understanding to sort of officialize what we start here and to build a plan that will bring us into the future. Did you have a few words to explain sort of the significance of the moment?
Yeah, sure. Do I have my microphone on?
You do, yes.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. I'd like to just show my appreciation to Ambassador Jayant Khobragade. He's the Indian ambassador to ASEAN. And some of you may not really know, actually the initiator of this event is started from our first meeting at Ambassador's office, where he expressed the need for having a program like this. And he met with me and Ashish just 3.5 months ago. And Ambassador was very clear about there needs to be a long-term sustained program, not just one-off programs in the region. So we came across this concept. We thought that should be programmatic, where not only is it one day, today is just a kickoff, right? This is the first time we are all meeting together. But all of you startups are going to be part of a program for the next 12 months and for the next 5 years. So the Connect platform is going to connect you to the ASEAN markets over a period of time. Not today is the starting point where we get to know each other. And Ambassador Jayant has consented to be here today to also be part of the program. He will be there in a roundtable and at the gala dinner and the awards in the evening. And I would really like to appreciate Professor Ankush Sharma for leading the delegation from IIT Kanpur. They have played a very critical role in how we are putting this program together, because I believe there were more than 150 applicants for the startups. Am I right? Yes. And selecting the top 40, the best of the best, has been the starting point for us. And our responsibility, as Wendy also mentioned, is taking these 40 companies into the ASEAN markets over a period of 12 months. So what we do today is to understand more about the companies, more about what you're trying to do. Our teams are going to discuss with you, have a better briefing, and then every month we are going to have connect programs which allows all of you to understand, go to Thailand, go to Philippines, go to Myanmar, Cambodia, etc. And that would be the approach of what we are doing. So I'd really like to appreciate the involvement of both these gentlemen. Please give them a big applause. And you will be seeing a very strong program which Ashish, our CEO, is putting together from the Gates Foundation. He is also helping the ASEAN Economic Forum to make sure that our programs are running across the region in a very sustainable way. Thank you very much, and look forward to the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Sachin.
Yes.
You can actually stay with me.
Yes.
And take position right here, because you are a moderator for the next session.
Thank you very much.
So I'm going to bring all of our speakers up very quickly. Simply name and company, no long introductions. I ask you to hold your applause until we get all of the speakers on stage, and then once they get settled in with the microphones in their position, then we'll recognize them all together. So first up, I want to welcome Mr. Andy Nunjan, General Director of the Dream Incubator in Vietnam. Andy, if you would join us on stage in this second seat. I want to welcome Harish Pillay, Director of IEEE Singapore and Deputy Chair of the IT Standards Board in Singapore. Harish, welcome. Mr. Gerald Wang, Senior Industry Advisor, Worldwide Public Sector at Microsoft. Gerald, if you would join us in that fourth chair. Ms. Brenda Regina Hansen, President and the Director of the Board at Digital Center Group. Brenda, if you would join us next to Gerald there. We have Sri Saiti Prakash Singh, Chief General Manager, Small Industries Development Bank of India. It's SIDBI, the Government of India. Mr. Singh, if you would join us, thank you. And last but not least, we have right here our moderator. He is the chairman of the ASEAN Economic Forum, a gentleman who doesn't need much more of an introduction. At this point, we are all installed on stage. I want to thank you very much. Did I miss someone?
Do we have Dr.
We
Zurina?
saved, no, excuse me.
Dr. Zurina.
My list was missing a name because I understood you came in a bit late, but you are here, so I welcome you up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Zarina Mokhtar, Assistant Director, Head of Science and Technology Division at ASEAN. Pardon the oversight. Now that we are all safely installed on stage, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's recognize these voices on stage.
Yes.
Sachin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you for doing a fantastic job. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ASEAN Scale Hub. Special mention to a few people before we get started on the panel. From the DST, the Department of Science and Technology of India, Dr. Nagabhupati Mohan, thank you very much for partnering with us and putting together a very exciting program which will go across the next 5 years. Ibu Asti from BRIN, thank you very much, Ibu, for the support. Yeah, I was having a chat with BRIN. BRIN is the Research and Innovation Department of Indonesia. It is like a counterpart to the DST of India. And BRIN has been putting together a very, I would say, forward-thinking program and approach towards how research and innovation should play a role in how a country, like a developing country like Indonesia, puts together its startups and builds a very healthy tech ecosystem. So BRIN plays a big role, and I'm very proud to say that BRIN has also agreed that they would partner with the ASEAN Economic Forum to build a long-term sustainable program. Very much like how Ambassador Jan Khobragade envisioned. And thank you, Ambassador, actually for the inspiration in helping us put together a program which we believe is connecting the dots of very things that you've been doing. There will be a roundtable with Ambassador Khobragade at 2 p.m., where we would be talking about how to actually put together programs like this in a more meaningful way. Many other partners here, ASEAN Secretariat, of course, we have Dr. Zurina here. But Sebastian, thank you also for putting together this whole event. I'd like to go a little bit deeper into why are we here today and what is the real purpose of us having a panel here and all the startups out here in the audience to understand the opportunity of ASEAN. Because if you look at ASEAN today, the 10 member nations are holding 10% of the world's population. 700 million plus people live in ASEAN. And being 10% of the world's population, however, they only contributed to 3% of the total combined GDP of the world. It's about 3.8 trillion. What does that mean? It actually means the opportunity to grow is so much more. The combined GDP of ASEAN should be closer to 10 trillion. And it will take us some time, but we will get closer to 10 trillion. And that is the window of opportunity for all the companies to actually grow into. And this opportunity should be recognized as the reason why we are here today, to be able to make use of this ASEAN opportunity. And when I say ASEAN opportunity, it's not just ASEAN as a marketplace, but ASEAN can go to the rest of the world. So there is an engagement of ASEAN with India, ASEAN with Korea, ASEAN with so many other nations, the EU, the US, etc. So ASEAN represents the collective interest of people and the aspirations of 700 million people. And I think that's something that we should take note of. The second thing is, we should also understand where will this growth come from. The growth will actually come from scalable technology-enabled businesses. Because to grow threefold, from 3.8 trillion to go to 10 trillion, is not going to come if it's business as usual. Things have to be scalable. Things have to be able to go across simultaneously into multiple markets. And companies should have the ability to grow. They should have the funding, they should have the human resources. They must have a solution that addresses the problems of these 10 countries. And you know ASEAN is not homogeneous, right? Every country within the ASEAN nations has its own character, its own identity, its own challenges, its own opportunities. So to understand that diversity across ASEAN is also becoming important. There is no one-shoe-fit-all solution into ASEAN. So the real topic of today addresses that how. How are we really going to go from where we are today to this $10 trillion economy? Is going to be with partnerships. Corporate engagement becomes very important because corporates are well structured. Corporates have got the ability to put together resources, people, and be able to work with startups so that scaling models can be developed. I think research and innovation plays a key role here. And I think we should be really looking at how this whole ecosystem comes together, which is the reason why we have this eminent panel in front of you. I'd like to give a big round of applause to our esteemed panelists. Since Ryan has already introduced them, I won't introduce them once again, but I would do so when I present a question to them. So in the first round, I would actually go across to each of you with a specific question, which is aimed at your area of expertise. After that, we'll have a little bit of a general discussion among us on the topics that you have brought up. Then we will go to the audience. So please do keep a few questions ready. It's your opportunity to interact with this eminent panel. And then we will have a wrap-up round of how do you think we summarize what we learned today. Because I would like this panel to have an outcome. There should be something that comes out of this panel which helps all of you, helps all of us to understand everything a little better, so that we can act upon this outcome and create something into this program that helps us all. Okay? So let it not just be about talking heads, but something that has an outcome and has something for us to follow up on from today onwards. So I would start with Gerald Wang. Gerald is the Senior Industry Advisor of the Public Sector for Microsoft. So Microsoft actually, Gerald plays a very important role, being one of the leading tech companies in the world. And what are the emerging technologies Microsoft is looking to invest in? And how can they support scale-ups and ecosystems in the region? If you could just give us a little bit of an overview of how Microsoft as a global giant sees the ASEAN opportunity. Over to you, Gerald.
Thank you so much, Ashish. Thank you so much for the invite here today. In fact, I spent the last 2 days, watching all the different accelerators, and startups really pitch your ideas, and it's very, for me, it's a very inspiring thing. I think the thing that you mentioned very clearly earlier also, with large startups, we are very structured, and sometimes we are very fixed on certain ideas. Definitely, thinking about, innovation, right? So really thinking about what's ahead, where do we invest into? Microsoft, as it is at this point in time has always been really focused around the workforce productivity tools, right? And then of course we're talking about data centers and all those pieces, right? But where we are seeing a lot of growth right now, as you can see in the stock markets, you can see everywhere out there, is really around AI, right? And right now, just the start of where we are today is really around generative AI. So it's basically you querying a system, it gets back the intelligent answers based on the database that you feed it to, right? So I think there's definitely a lot of interest and a lot of conversations that we're having with that today, but we're definitely also really thinking about how do you provide that full comprehensive suite of solution that come to play, right? As you get digital, there are a lot of concerns, especially with organizations. For me, I cover public sector markets, governments. You know, the first thing they will ask out of mind, where is the data? Is it sovereign? How do we deal with that? Do we have DC in country? Or can we manage it digitally, right? How do we have digital sovereignty? Now, the challenge for us, many of us out here in the market, is that we tend to be so used to speaking to the IT side of the equation.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that there are so many more decision makers out there that we need to sell the idea to. Sovereignty, for example, how do I sell digital sovereignty to an audit compliance person who has policies that has been there for 20, 30 years that says that my data has to be sovereign physically in country, right? How do you convince them that you can be digitally sovereign if their data is based, out in space, data is based out of another foreign country? How do you convince that? Right? So you really need to think through, how do you pitch, how do you create those point of views? Right, and I think that's where we are taking a lot of real big bets into, right? The whole cyber space. That's something that, we've heard a lot of areas around scams, frauds, addressing that. So just a very quick overview of some of the things that we're definitely looking out for. Of course, we also try to go more into specific industries because you start to realize that as you go deeper, the language is very different. And when you're pitching to CFO, COO, people who do OT, engineers and all that. It's a very different conversation. Like for us in IT, we think we know OT, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
You're right, BIMs, building water sensors, electric meters and all that. We don't really understand. Just because it is in Wi-Fi packets, we say it's part of IT. It's not true, right? So how do we bridge those conversations? How do we develop pieces in those spaces? That's where we are definitely walking forward.
Thank you, Gerald, for that. In fact, you were there during the smart pitches.
Yes.
Did any of the topics of the smart pitches or the themes of the companies that are there in the smart pitches attract your attention from a Microsoft perspective?
Quite a few, especially around the Gen AI pieces. And also, close to my heart very much is around the compliance audit kind of solutions that are out there. Traditional areas where people have been so used to the paper-based approach for the past 20, 30 years, and to them, suddenly you can tell them that, I can take all your information, put it in into the AI machine, and then do a batch generation of where the anomalies are and all that. Suddenly they realize that, oh my goodness, I'm going to save 7 weeks of time doing audit work, right? So I think that's where I see a lot of excitement going into, right? Really transforming all these very traditional processes that we have.
So you would agree that actually there's a very good mix of companies that are here today?
Absolutely.
Because you would see a lot of diversity in the companies that have been selected by IIT Kanpur. And I think they have spent a lot of time in making sure there's a good representation of various kinds of technologies in the room today. Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Ash.
Yeah, that's validation, actually. I was wanting to hear it from somebody who's at the top of the food chain, which is Microsoft. Right? Thank you.
Appreciate that.
So I'm going to go to Brenda. Brenda Regina Hansen is the president of the board directors of the Digital Center Group. And welcome, firstly.
Thank you.
I want to bring this topic that Brenda is going to talk about a little early into this conversation, right? And this is something in the space of gender empowerment. And I understand that the Digital Center works on empowering younger generations as well as women, right?
Correct.
So you focus also on that group. The reason I'm saying this is important is because we all have conceptions about women in technology, women in business, and actually we've been doing a lot of work in the ASEAN Economic Forum, which has discovered that the role that women play in certain businesses, in certain roles and certain technologies is groundbreaking. And the ability to empower and harness this ability to work together with certain groups of people or companies will really help us get that multiple that we are looking for. Otherwise, everything's going to be business as usual. Do we not need to scale up at a high rate, at a high momentum? We do. In which case, we have to start looking at all kinds of various things that are contributing to this narrative. And one of them is empowering women with technology, with expertise in running businesses. And there are a lot of programs actually being done by Brenda. So Brenda, I'd like you to give a little bit of an overview of what are you doing and how do you see that being relevant for the ASEAN story?
Okay, thank you. I said to Jared, the light is so bright, I'm worried I'm doing fashion show. Okay, and then panelists. Okay, thank you for your question. So actually, yeah, I become the celebrity here, yeah? Okay, thank you. I'm starting for Digital Center 3 years ago. Okay, I'm targeting to open 20 digital center. Digital center is like a digital city. Yeah. So now in 3 years, I already have 5 digital city. Bali is the first. Bali, Jakarta, Batam, Surabaya, Bandung, the latest. So we also doing the overseas project like in South Africa, South Korea, and also a joint venture in South Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore. Then I realized I'm different. Yeah, I'm not like the other IT guy. Yeah, very serious, right? So I like to smile because I'm a woman, right? I also like doing my makeup every morning, right? So that's why I see that every city is different. We cannot make all become same. When I starting in Bali, I doing research. I learn the local language. I learn their culture, okay? They cannot become back-end developer or front-end developer. They will be UI, UX designer. Why? Because they're art in their blood. So I learned how to develop my city through the culture. So I not push people to become the general IT because I realize myself cannot be like you guys. Okay, I'm different. So that's why I encourage my leaders. Not because they are young, they cannot be leaders. Because I see myself, I'm young, but I work very hard to be accepted. That's why I cut my hair, right? So the IT can accept me, okay? So that's why I do. I empowering them because I have a vision how my Indonesia can be looked by the world, not only because we buy something, right? But because we able to play in the global. Yes. That's why I built the city. I going anywhere to see the culture. Then I become one of the women in technology now in Indonesia, going around city to build the digital center. That's what I do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what has been your experience in the last, let's say, 1 or 2 years and how the women are playing a bigger role compared to, let's say, the stereotype 10 years ago?
Yes.
Do you see a change in the way the industry is moving towards and being more inclusive?
Yes.
You do see that?
Yeah. Maybe in the, you're calling sandwich generation, right?
Yes.
Sandwich generation, you're trying to survive, right? Most in the IT filled by the men, right? In millennial generation, we need is acknowledge. We need the sandwich generation acknowledge us, right? For the Gen Z is more the freelance, healing, right?
Yes.
So I see that this needs is able to feel if I want to going down, to listening them, okay? That's what I do as a woman. My character, the way I do is different in IT. I'm more listening them. I'm more having asking them to give an idea, not only doing the standardization of coding, yeah, technology, but I learn what is the problem. Yeah. So we solve for the people problem, human problem, not the technology problem. That's why I see as a human, as a woman. So that's why I encourage my young generation, my next generation, especially for women, right, to speak up, give an idea, and give opportunity for the woman to going up for the promotion. Okay. That's what I do for Digital Center.
Excellent. In fact, Brenda, we're going to come back to you a little bit more during this chat. We have a gentleman here in the room who has actually been working a lot in empowering women in their organizations. Cyrus has been with IDC. He was a presenter earlier. I think during the Q&A, we'll interact with you, Cyrus, on this topic specifically. I'm going to go to Sri SP Singh. He's the Chief General Manager of SIDBI. SIDBI is a Small Industries Development Bank of India. It's important to hear what he has to say, because what India has managed to do in being able to fund the small scale sector, the micro sector, etc., is a lesson for many of the other countries who have various kinds of challenges in how they are making funding available for the small sector. So, Sri SP Singh, my question to you would be, what sort of funds are you investing in which sectors is SIDBI really focusing on? And do you see that there is some learning that you have had in India that can be applied to ASEAN, so that ASEAN can start thinking in terms of understanding from SIDBI a kind of a blueprint, that could be adopted here? Over to you, Pa.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good morning, friends. In fact, in India, if you see, particularly this startup revolution came when Government of India first launched a sovereign fund of fund in 2016 with an initial corpus of $1.25 billion. That is one of the single largest, in fact, sovereign fund in the world right now, working for the startup ecosystem. And you will be happy to note that when this fund was launched in 2016, there were hardly 400 startups registered in India. And today you will be happy to note that there are more than 1.25 lakh startups registered with Government of India. So that's the kind of change which has come. 125,000 startups are today registered with India. And this $1.25 billion which Government of India brought in for promoting the startup ecosystem in the country, we are managing that fund. And this has in turn leveraged approximately 75,000 crores.
Correct.
So, I mean, what happened? This gave up a fillip that the new ecosystem which was being supported with the regulatory environment, that came in. And because capital availability was there, there was a big policy push, and at the same time there was a market push as well. One of the important steps which Government of India took subsequently today, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is SEBI, which is the regulator for this capital market. In fact, Government of India brought the best of the best entrepreneurs into various committees to represent who frame the policy.
Okay.
You would have heard Mr. Narayan Murthy, who is the founder of Infosys, once upon a time, which was a startup and today multi-billion-dollar company. So a number of committees are headed by Mr. Narayan Murthy himself. And I have the privilege to be on the part of many committees along with him. And he questions the regulator and the policy makers that if you are proposing a particular change in the regulation, to whom you want to benefit. If it is for the benefit of the startup or the corporate or the MSME, then what exactly they need? So one significant lesson which I would like to share with, in fact, that's very common. These are the entrepreneurs who create entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs create entrepreneur. And therefore, entrepreneurs' voice should be duly represented, perhaps in every aspect of industrialization, whether by way of startups or through the conventional industry. So this is one lesson which I have understood. The second important aspect which we are observing by managing this sovereign fund is that basically startups, more than funding, needs market. And that's where we believe that the corporate has a major role. The negative part of the corporate intervention in the startup ecosystem is that corporates always wants a controlling stake in the coming up startup if it has a potential, right? And that's the point of conflict which corporates need to address. And I think the collaborative approach could bring better wealth to the society and better solution to the society. That's the observation which we are having today. And you will be happy to note that in India, in next 2 to 3 years period, at least you will be seeing 125 unicorns. So that's the kind of pace and space which is coming today. Agnikul by chance was not there.
Yeah.
That's a startup worth showing. They have come into the private sector, leading the rockets to the space, and very successfully they have launched. So, all these interventions which are coming up in India, we are looking forward a great synergy with the ASEAN countries, and Government of India is coming out with a program, in fact, where the digital public infrastructure which has been created in India, the Government of India is looking forward to share it with the friendly countries in the global south for their benefit. I hope this kind of initiatives will take it further.
Okay. Thank you very much. You made an interesting point about, the role of the Infosys chairman in playing, in helping in building policy or even giving direction to where you should be going. So the question about funding, does SIDBI invest in the companies from an equity funding perspective, or do you also give working capital loans? Do you also give bill discounting or factoring? Do you have, what are the mechanics or the mechanisms that SIDBI is currently using to support because I'll tell you the context is, in many of the parts of ASEAN, because of the regulatory environment, they are not able to give loans without collateral. And many of the startups don't have collateral. Firstly, they don't have track record, they're very new. How do you overcome these kind of issues? Because I know India has done it.
Yes. So what happened that SIDBI provides whole range of products and services to micro, small and medium enterprises, including startups.
Okay.
I'm keeping startup as separate. One of the significant intervention which has been brought to address this collateral problem and the third party guarantee problem, that we have launched Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, CGTMSE. Under CGTMSE, we are giving loans up to rupees 5 crore without any collateral and third party guarantee. Right?
Yes.
And similarly, there is a mother trust has been created that is called NCGTC, National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company. This company provides guarantee for venture debt product for the startups.
Okay.
So now you see, if you see the life cycle of a startup, because majority of the participants here are the startups. Startups is starting from seeding to growth capital when they move on to the venture debt. That's a product where many of the startups were facing a lot of problem. Because this venture debt being a high risk area, simple reason is because the startup is burning, startup is continuously perennially in loss, so the conventional banking was not coming forward. So Government of India established this trust, and this trust is extending the guarantee for this venture debt for the startups up to 75 to 85% of your default will be met by this trust, where the corpus has been contributed by the Government of India. So the whole range of products and services from term loan to working capital to guarantees, and guarantees ensuring assistance to the micro, small and medium enterprises and the startup without collateral and without third party guarantee. So that is the product, in fact, that has brought a revolutionary change in the Indian ecosystem.
I think this is something that we should discuss actually beyond this panel discussion as well, because I think it is one of the biggest challenges startups face. There are a lot of the startups who are here. Do you face problems in working capital and funding for your operations? Just put your hand up. I'd just like to see a show of hand if you have problems, or is that a challenge? Yes. And how many of them are from India? Okay, all right. So this is something that you can learn from this panel, that SIDBI, for example, has worked out solutions, and you should be able to connect in a better way to solve some of these issues. I'll come back to you again, Pasvi Singh. I'm going to go to Andy. Andy, welcome. Andy is the General Director of Dream Incubator in Vietnam. We're very pleased to have somebody from Vietnam here. Vietnam is actually the growth story of ASEAN today. If you're looking at rate of growth or the significant way that they have got their act together and are coming up in the startup world, Vietnam, I think, is a great case study here. I'd like to listen a little bit more about it from Andy. But Andy, specific questions to you, apart from just giving us an overview of what you do, is where do you see the investments are coming from, not only in Vietnam, but where do you see the trend is across the region? What do you think is the speciality of ASEAN that you seem to be noticing, which may be different from some of the other ecosystems in other parts of the world? Like Silicon Valley has a different approach, India has a different approach. How do you think ASEAN's startup, I would say, priorities or the directions are emerging? Over to you, Andy.
Thank you, Sachin. So from what I observe as a consultant in Southeast Asia, I think our firm particularly focuses on two countries in the region. One is clearly my home country because I choose to reside, in Vietnam because I'm a Vietnamese citizen.
Yeah.
But we have teams in Jakarta and also Bangkok. And the second country, is our focus, is Indonesia.
Okay.
And clearly because the ecosystem here is much more established as compared to, Vietnam and even Thailand. And I think we can point out to three fundamental, I would say, factors that we think, startups or the ecosystem in Indonesia, is much more well established.
Yeah.
Number one would be, we consider the readiness of the ecosystem. What I mean by the readiness is the establishments of acceleration people, incubation people that are very helpful to support young, startups. Right? They are in early stage, so they really need hands-on support so that they can grow bigger. So one of the fundamental problems is that whether the product fits the market is something we see, Indonesia does much more better job as compared to Vietnam.
Yeah.
So because the simple logic is that the more number of qualified startups in the seed stage would increase the chance for them to survive in the following stages, right? So that is the first factor. The second factor is the exit opportunity for startups. Because, for example, in Vietnam, there is no way for them to, to get listed, right?
Yes.
You don't reserve, you haven't
At least not yet.
Yeah, we have some unicorns, but they are just having some statuses, right? So no listed companies yet.
Yeah.
However, in Indonesia, we observe there is an established, let's say, mechanism for them to, to get public. And one of the reasons behind that is because of the involvement of the private sector, right? So in some cases, conglomerates can be the bias, right, of the companies. And the other factor is the establishment of the regulatory, framework for young companies to be qualified for, to be registered on stock market, similar to the case in India and as well as Japan, which is our headquarters location.
Yeah.
So, and the last factor is, because in Vietnam, as an example, there is limited presence of domestic funds, right? So companies in young stage, they typically look at, regional funds or banks, maybe similar to your earlier question, for their financing needs,
yeah.
Right? So local companies, they don't typically uphold, right, innovation or maybe culture of building new businesses yet. So I would say, in short, my answer is that although we focus on the two countries, but the bigger part of our activities, particularly in the domain of innovation, venture capital investment, and impact consulting, is in Indonesia.
Okay.
As a focus.
Got it. So you mentioned something very interesting here. One of the exits you said could be corporates buying startups. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I don't know, in the room here, has anybody considered the idea of working with a corporate which actually invests in you? Does any startup here have a large corporate that has actually become your shareholder? Bought equity? None. So I look at it in a different way, because there are good stories and there are not good stories in that whole approach. Like we do know like there are large institutions like Alphabet and Google, for example, who have bought into companies, and it's not necessarily been good for the company after that. So there are various motives and agendas behind those kind of mechanisms. What would you say is your advice to the startups here? How should they approach the idea of partnering with a large corporate, being an investor in them? Any tips or any guidelines?
Yeah, I was maybe instead of saying something in general, I would share with you a real example from one of our consulting projects in India.
Okay.
I'm Vietnamese, but I had a chance to work in India for a couple of years. So our client is a manufacturing giant in the auto sector, right? So they wanted to build a B2B supply matching platform because they want to optimize their supply chain business, particularly in the domain of car making business. There are more than 3,000 parts, right,
Okay.
that are needed for them to assemble a car. So for them to do everything from scratch is not easy, although they have a good, well-designed strategy, a well-thought, strategic plan, and then action plan, as well as human resources.
Sure.
However, because of the nature of being a giant company, particularly the Japanese culture doesn't allow them to move, let's say, flexibly, right? So they commission us to not only devise an action plan for them, but to engage, right? Establish companies, but young, for them to partner at the very beginning stage of their journey, particularly about the aspects of customer acquisition, because no one can do a better job than the local people, right?
Right.
If they come in as a giant manufacturer from Japan, the cost of doing is much more different from the scenario that they partner with a local company. So my quick answer to your question is that if we target, from the perspective of a startup, if we target at conglomerate or big companies, we need to customize our solution to have to pitch at them.
To pitch at them, yes.
Right? So because a lot of I would say global companies. On the one hand, they are very big, in terms of scale, but on the other hand, they are very hierarchical, and
Correct.
they are very slow in making decisions, and they are very keen
They
on...
need to see a perfect fit.
Right.
Yes.
But they are very
Understood.
keen on transformation, but they don't know what to do.
Yes.
So if we do a very, very deep analysis on the business model of those, we can probably, devise a partnership model, and then we can come and knock the doors of those people.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks for that, Andy. I'm going to move to Dr. Zurina Mokhtar. Dr. Zurina is the Assistant Director and the Head of Science Technology Division of ASEAN. And it's very good for us to have her here today because I think you should all hear the perspective of how ASEAN looks at the role of science and technology in the years that's going forward. So, Dr. Zurina, I just wanted to hear from you a little bit about firstly, what do you do? What is your job role and your priorities right now, your KPIs, if I may say? And also, where do you see the opportunities are coming up so that, the startups in the room and the scale-ups here can play a role in being a part of something that's already planned? Over to you, Ibu, Dr. Zurina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sachin. First of all, I'd like to extend my sincerest appreciation and gratitude for having me in this panel discussion. So I think essentially, one of the things that we're discussing now is how we engage the startup and the corporate, engage their interaction, and try to have them speak to each other that would in the end morph into acceleration of innovation. Yeah. So going back to the question, I would like to first give a quick overview of the ASEAN startup landscape. If we look at the global perspective, the US is right now standing as the country with the most number of startups. This was reported last year, followed by India and then the UK. There is actually one ASEAN member state who's in the top 10 of countries with the most number of startups, which is Indonesia. Yeah?
Okay.
Last year, Indonesia has got around 2,000 startups, and if we combine all the startups in ASEAN, we have around 4,000, which means to say that half of the startups in ASEAN are actually here in Indonesia. So looking at the opportunities, just looking at the growth of startup, we can see how vibrant the startup ecosystem in ASEAN is. But then we need to always remember that not all of these startups can scale up. Not all of these startups can cross the valley of death. What they need is the support from the government, from the industry/corporate, from the mentors and also from the networks. Yeah? This is essentially what we are discussing now. In ASEAN, we see a lot of opportunities, and we try to incorporate all these opportunities into how we operate at the regional level. We work with 10 ASEAN member states. Yeah? Imagine the challenges that we are facing.
Yeah.
At the national level, all ASEAN member states, they have got a set of challenges. And now we are talking about 10 ASEAN member states. So the opportunity that we are looking at, number one, I think would be the most classic entry point for cooperation, PPP, public-private partnership. Number two would be joint venture. And number three would be CVC. As you mentioned earlier, entrepreneurs create entrepreneurs. So very quickly, in ASEAN, I would try to bring 2 to 3 examples on how things work in ASEAN. So we have in ASEAN Secretariat about 22 sectoral bodies looking into 22 different sectoral areas. So my team and I, we are overseeing the implementation of activities that would contribute to the advancement of science and technology. Yeah? In terms of startup, there are at least 3 sectoral bodies who work very closely with startups. Number one is our sectoral body, COSTI, the Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation. Number 2 would be ADG-SOM, the ASEAN Digital Ministerial. And then the number 3 is AXMI, ASEAN Committee on MSME. Yeah? For all these 3 startups, we work very closely together. It's not really territorial. And we try to have startup to engage with the corporate. The way we see things is like this. Yeah? At one end, you have the startup known for its agility and also known for their, fresh ideas. And at the other end, you have the corporate known for its stability and market presence. So we believe that the role of these 2 entities need to be mutually reinforcing. It's not really David and Goliath relationship. They need to work together to foster cooperation and accelerate innovation in the region. Another important entity in ASEAN is ABAC, ASEAN Business Advisory Council. They are the liaison between us, ASEAN, and 10 ASEAN member states and the private sectors. Under ABAC, if you can just Google, we have AMEN,
Yes.
ASEAN Mentorship and Entrepreneurship Network. This is very useful for the budding startup. And I would say that 3 to 5 years recently, we are opening our door even more widely to work with the private sector. So I think those are the opportunities that we see in bringing all these startup in ASEAN into a high level. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Zarina. The question actually, I have a follow-up question to what you just said. If you were to look at this from a scale of 1 to 10 of where you want to be, where are we today? Because it's not an easy thing to build corporate partnerships. In fact, that's the reason we have the topic on the stage today. And there are many challenges and there are many agendas on both sides. From your perspective, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we today?
So I think this is my personal opinion. I think we are at 6 because startup is one of the contributors to economic growth. As you rightly mentioned at the very beginning, we stand at 3.8 trillion at this point of time in terms of our combined GDP. Yeah? If ASEAN is a single market, if ASEAN is a single country, we are the 5th largest economy right now, after the US, Japan, China, and also Germany. So I think if we can really validate that startup really contribute to our GDP, then we are at 6. This is my personal opinion. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, great. That's good to know, actually. I'm going to move to Harish Pillai. Harish is here on my left. He's the director of IEEE Singapore, but he's also the deputy chair of the Singapore IT Standards Board. So we are very fortunate to have you here today, Harish, because this is a topic that I believe is important, because without standardization, you don't get scale. Scale needs a certain pre-qualification, standards being one of them, right? So you being in that pioneer in the space of standards and digital transformation, etc., how do you see private sector working with governments, working with companies, etc., and how does it influence the building of standards and the establishment of standards?
Well, thank you very much, Sachin. Standards is one of those things which is, in many ways, very boring. When I got first involved with standards, the person who invited me to be on in the standards committee told me, and when I asked him, what does this actually involve? He said, this is like watching paint dry. If you want to watch the paint dry, That's what standards making is. Because it's a very slow, deliberate, a lot of discussions to get to a consensus, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with human beings. So we will all have our own interests and biases and, and misunderstandings and so on. So how do we bring all of this thing together? Because we want to show at the end of the day that there is value that comes out of standards. So a very simple example that we have today, if you want to plug in your power socket into any of the sockets here, if you are, I think most of them tend to follow the British standard, but if it is not, then you have to have the adapters to adapt to the electrical connectors. They are all standards, but now there is this interoperability problem. Now, so when you talk about businesses and government and private sector, if you want to sell your product, whatever the product it might be, you can choose to build everything yourself and say my ideas are the best and this is how it's going to be, and with very little interoperability with anything else. Or if you follow a standard, then the opportunity to displace another product because you are standards based, they are also standards based, becomes more interesting, because now you go to the value that you bring, not because I lock you into a non-standard model. Now, standards, again, it seems a little bit, I may have painted a picture that it is not interesting. It is slow moving.
Yes.
And it is deliberate. And, if we don't have standards at all, a lot of the things that we are doing here will not happen.
Yes.
We can, none of these things, everything that you see here, the internet connectivity is based on standards. It took a long time to get there, but we got there. The mic that I'm using, there are standards inside here. Standards that work is transparent to you. You don't even know that you're using a particular standard. That's the way it should be. In other words, it should be just boring. Yes, it just works, just the job, and seamless. And that is actually a very hard thing to do. It may seem, why is it hard? Because you don't immediately see the impact. And you also don't see necessarily the people behind the standards making process. The cooks in the kitchen is actually trying to make the standard happen. The committee members, the deliberations, the discussions, you don't see it happening. But once you see the standards being done and you see people adopting it, and then you see them flourishing, I feel good. I've seen some of the stuff that I participated in being used in places which I had never expected ever to see. You feel good. Oh, okay, that is nice. It helped them solve a problem. And that is the value that standards bring.
Got it.
It's not easy, but it is extremely valuable.
Okay. So I'm going to extrapolate on this, because you talk specifically about tech standards, IT standards, but the same thing applies on many other things. For example, ASEAN is trying to bring together the DEFA, Digital Economy Framework Agreement, which is also a standard. Though it's not a tech standard, IT standard, but it's a standard of how the region will operate together. So, Dr. Zurina, would you like to talk about how ASEAN is looking at developing standards of how they operate across the various things? Not tech side of it, but the idea of having standards is one way of unifying and creating a homogeneous ASEAN region?
Yes, for standards, I think there's challenges and opportunities for ASEAN, because as I said earlier, we're talking about 10 different ASEAN member states here. We cannot dictate on how each one of the ASEAN member states would follow the standard that we recommend. So the least that we can do in ASEAN, for example, you brought up about DEFA, is to provide a guideline that can be followed by all 10 ASEAN member states. It could be relevant to most, but not all. Yeah? What we try to achieve in ASEAN is to have all 10 to be able to move forward. Yeah? At least the least developed countries should be able to stand on the shoulders of the giants of the more developed countries.
Okay.
It's impossible to come up with one standard for all, but although we managed to do harmonization for some part of it, in terms of science and technology, of course, we haven't come up with any standard. Just one example, engineering biology, we are now working on that. Yeah, synthetic biology. We want to have a standard on and similar regulation for synthetic biology, but we're still working on it. So as I said, the least that we can do is come up with the guideline or framework for each one of the ASEAN member states to follow. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm going to actually come to the audience a few times here. This is one of those times when I can ask, does the audience have any questions? If you do, please raise your hand. Yes, Sanjeev, can we have a microphone here? If somebody could be a standby for questions from the audience, please. Yes, thank you. So we'll have a few more sessions with the audience, yeah? So please be ready. If you have any questions, feel free. This is a great opportunity to have some very eminent speakers on stage. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Hi, Sachin. So good interaction till now. So I have a couple of observations based on which I'd like to seek some comments. And since I have been in corporate life and I've seen innovation and entrepreneurship from that side, so the observations are, one, since I live in Singapore, there are a few corporate initiated or corporate supported accelerators and incubators. So examples being like MasterCard has an innovation lab, DBS Bank has something called Asia X, in the FMCG industry, Unilever has something called Foundry and so on. Point I'm getting to is for startups who want to engage in the corporate ecosystem, the one side, I think government should encourage corporates to set up accelerators like these. Two is for the startups to be aware how to engage in those. The second observation that I have, having been in corporate life, is many a times the corporate problems are such that one single startup can't solve it, but the startup is engaging in a narrow way, trying to say, I can solve it, but corporate doesn't have the bandwidth to figure all of it out. So therefore, the startups need to, through the mechanism of incubators, accelerators, and so on, figure out if they can work with other startups and therefore add up and create a complete solution versus just going with a point solution. Easier said than done, because if the startups had those abilities, they already would be bigger. But something to keep in mind, that don't engage just with your own narrow point of view, because that may not solve the complete problem the corporate has. So these are a couple of things that from my corporate experience, as well as some of the corporate accelerators that I'm aware of, that I think could be relevant input for the startups to consider, but open to viewpoints from the panelists as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sanjeev, for that. We will be coming to the audience for a few more comments after this. We'll take this Sanjeev's point to the panel here. But Ibu Asti, Ambassador Jayant, Somchai, for example, we will come to you for some of your views as well after one round here. Okay, thank you. So going back to the point raised by Sanjeev here, anybody would like to go first on the point he made about, okay, let me specify. For example, Microsoft, what would be a mechanism of you having an accelerator kind of a service for some of the startups, and how would you frame it in the context of the remarks of Sanjeev?
Sure, appreciate it. You mentioned Microsoft, so I'll get this first.
Yeah.
So I think for us, we are always on the lookout for partnerships, right? Yeah. As we go into specific countries, specific industries, there are different ways to go into different markets, right? For example, if I go to Malaysia and I'm trying to capture a tax agency opportunity, the first thing they'll look at us, it will be like, do you have a Bumi that you will work through, right? The whole Bumi Putra thing where you have to go through a local system integrator piece, right? In terms of really understanding, like positioning yourself right in the market is a very key thing, at least for corporates, right? Because when you're looking for partners, we want to understand, are you the right fit? And I think you also mentioned that, sometimes we do acquire them. Most time is because it could be for content, it could be for your leading market share within specific markets. This is where, we will start to really assess and really understand on how, do we collaborate in those spaces, right? So I think there's definitely a lot of different areas, because we do also work very closely with each different country where you do have government agencies that are trying to help local high growth SME startups to go scale, right? As they move beyond what they're trying to do. And one of the great resources of corporates is that once you get an in, at least for Microsoft, once you're listed on our marketplace, you know, a lot of our international colleagues will start bringing you into different markets too.
Yeah.
Right? And always really think about, you know, where the gap is, what that winning use case is going to be like. You know, go through with us on those journeys, and really from there, you know, things will just move, at least from my point of view, with the you know, large AWSs, Huawei's, Microsoft of the world. Yeah.
You're right in a way, you know, that Gerald, that the corporate wanting to buy into a startup is the highest form of validation, because that is a validation of your business model and your traction, which is very different from being acquired by a venture capitalist or being acquired by, you know, any of the other institutions that you look at. So to that point, I agree with that. I'm going to actually ask all of you to prepare for a question that I'm going to ask you a little later. That is that I would like one idea from you which you believe can help in the way corporates can play a bigger role in getting startups to get into the, you know, the markets, especially around ASEAN. But I'll come to that answer a little later. But please do think one idea from you in the context of what all the things you've been doing, which I think can be put to the audience for them to consider. Okay? So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask some of the other eminent speakers in the audience here. Do you have a question? Yes, please. Can I have the microphone over? Yeah, thank you, Wendy.
So I am Jitendra Kumar. I am a Managing Director of Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, which nurtures these startup companies, which gives funding, networking, mentoring, etc.
Yes.
My question to panelists is there a mechanism in place, or we can think of, where these startups from India can scale up, or they are looking for markets in ASEAN countries, vice versa? Many of the Indian diaspora is here, I can see, and they can actually look at the Indian market, because India is a huge market. And there could be also soft lending options for you know, startup companies from here we can provide, and vice versa. So this could be a very good way of collaboration and scale up of the startup ecosystem across the ASEAN and the Indian ecosystem.
Thank you very much. Who would like to go on answering that? Maybe Dr. Zurina, would you? Yes.
So I think this is very relevant to us at the ASEAN Secretariat. First of all, I'd like to highlight here that India is the only dialogue partner in ASEAN that is currently establishing a dedicated fund for ASEAN India Science and Technology Cooperation. So we try to encourage all other countries, all other dialogue partners to also establish the dedicated fund. So first, we need to leverage on this dedicated fund, AIS-TDF, ASEAN India Development Science Technology Fund. And then I'm going back to your question, how can ASEAN startup and also Indian startup, ASEAN corporate, Indian corporate work together? This is the right platform, the ScaleHub. Although this is just the beginning, I think it is so promising on how we managed to bring all the startups from both regions in the same platform. So I hope to see more, you know, interesting follow-on events and also programs after this ScaleHub. In fact, we're already planning for ScaleHub next year and year after next to align with ASEAN chairmanship.
Okay.
And this is one example. Another example is actually for this year and next is actually an important year for startup in ASEAN, because we embark on a new initiative called ASI, ASEAN Startup Initiative, a centralized startup initiative for the whole region. The aim, there are 3 phases for ASI. This year, we are going to come up with a web portal that will connect startup, corporates, and investors. By this year, we are going to complete the assignment. Next year, we are going to focus on the go-to-market strategies activities, and we are going to have, hopefully, another ScaleHub next year in Kuala Lumpur for Malaysia Chairmanship next year, and year after next in the Philippines. And the end game of ASI would be to create a center of excellence for startup in ASEAN. So I would say that 2 examples on how we can work together is through this platform, ScaleHub, and also ASI. Thank you.
It's a fantastic answer. In fact, you know, I'd like to just reinforce what she said. The ASEAN ScaleHub today is really the kickoff. It's the first event in this direction that we are doing. So it's not that you come here, you immediately get the results. But this is where we talk about the problems, the challenges, the issues, so that Ashish and his team can design the program that will give you the outcomes you want over the next few months. So ASEAN Secretariat is, all stakeholders are here today. We are identifying what is the issue. And that's why we want even the startups here in the room to tell us, what are your challenges, what are your problems, how are the things that you are looking for can be achieved. Then this team will get to work and design the program across the whole year. There are activities every month. There are activities for the next 1 year, and there are activities for the next 5 years. So this is the starting point of how we engage in working together with India and the ASEAN region, specifically the topic being today, the ASEAN India engagement, right? In fact, here we have the person, if you don't mind, Your Excellency, Ambassador Jayant, may I invite you to say a few words about that fund that Dr. Zorina was talking about. India is the first country to actually have a dedicated fund, which is a catalytic fund. May I ask you to just give us a few words about what is that all about? Because the person in the room is here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sachin, and thank you all the panelists for very interesting and engrossing discussion. And wherever I have doubts, I have next to me sitting Mr. Ashish, who is clarifying all the doubts. So coming to, the ASEAN-India cooperation and ASEAN-India fund, in fact, we have so far, different dedicated funds. One is that in general ASEAN-India cooperation fund, we have ASEAN-India Green Fund, and we have ASEAN-India Science and Technology Fund. Now these funds are utilized, for the purpose of bringing, mainly, our focus is on youth. So bringing youth of ASEAN and India together, and we want them to collaborate and work together. Because if you look, we have different social background. Different issues. At the same time, there are a lot of commonalities, taking into account our cultural heritage, etc., and different sectors, and their evolutions, etc. So these are basically are the funds. And for example, under Science and Technology Fund, we have fellowship program, which is a very regular program. So we get fellows from ASEAN member states, and they work in different universities. They, many times we work on the joint projects. Prior to this, we have Department of Science and Technology, with their initiative, they have been organizing startup festivals. In fact, along with BRIN, in Bogor, we have done a big festival 1.5 years back, and in fact, it was like a startup festival, so there were industry participation, and there were some success stories emerging out of that kind of festival. So, and let me also share with you that Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, when he came to Jakarta last year for the ASEAN India Summit, the Prime Minister announced a new fund, which is Fund for Digital Future. And by this summit, by October, we are trying to give shape to that fund, and then we'll also, because digital connectivity, you have mentioned about DEFA, digital connectivity is a very important aspect. So these funds will be used, and through these mechanisms. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The important point made actually by Ambassador Jayant Khobragade is that the commitment of a long-term program of funding across these two needs to now be leveraged into something actionable. How do everybody participate to make use of the funds and actually have programs up and running? Because the basic foundation is there. And I think this is a great model looking forward to, for example, I think Japan has a similar idea, and Andy actually talked a little bit about it, how Dream Incubator works with Japan. And we have to talk about these being dialogue partners, not within ASEAN, because within ASEAN, if you are one of the 10 member nations, the mechanism is slightly different. But if you are from outside the region, that the dialogue partners come into play, and that there is a different role, because then now you're no longer looking at being within ASEAN, but also across to the rest of the world. So that would be, thank you very much, Ambassador, for that input. So I'm going to now go a little bit back to the panel here. I would like to actually, talk a little bit more about corporate engagement. And the key topic here is how can we engage a little bit more effectively with corporate. So I'm going to go to each one of you one by one and give us one idea in 2 minutes or so, which you believe is worth pursuing. And you don't have to back it up with a lot of background. It's an idea, right? But something for our teams to start thinking about, hey, that's a great idea. We should think about that. So anybody would like to go first? I'm not going to go in any particular order. Any one of you would like to go first? You can just go ahead. Or would you like me to go one by one? Maybe we can start from here, and then I'll say, Andy, maybe start from you. We'll just go one by one, right?
So I would think, in terms of corporate engagement, particularly when I imagine, about the future for the ecosystem of startups. I think the role of conglomerates, particularly in Vietnam, probably they would need to think more about innovation, because the business models in Vietnam are very traditional, and the business leaders are old school.
Old school.
Yeah,
so innovation becomes the idea to pursue.
Right, because and they are at the brink of preparing for the next generation. And if the companies are going well, probably they don't think about who to pass the business to.
Succession becomes an issue.
Right, but if the company are already public, they need to think about how to be bigger with collaboration strategies. So without innovation, they cannot do that. And without probably the thinking about innovation, they would not think about corporate venture business or innovation center or PMO offices, right? So that is a pain point of Vietnam. And that is particularly linking with the point I mentioned earlier. One of the pain points is that domestic funds are very limited, and the sources of funding are mostly from the region, which is okay, but I would not think that is going to be lasting long as a tool of funding.
Yes. Okay, great idea. In fact, Ibu Asti, that is a good input for Brin. Innovation seems to be identified as an important ingredient going forward, and Brin is here. Brin actually fosters innovation in Indonesia. Next, over to you, Harish.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is call out the elephant in the room that we are, or probably is the oncoming train, this thing known as AI. What do we need to do as every corporate entity around that space? You cannot say, I don't want to see it, I don't care about it, I just ignore it, because it's going to ram shot and kill you out. So what do you need to do to address that? So I guess one of those things that they need to, every organization, I don't care how small you are, you have to understand, you have to spend the time to learn about it. It is not easy. If you don't do it, you will be left behind. And I think that is the message that I want to leave with people, because if not, I hate to see next year half of them are dead because the train has just run over them, which is not necessarily the best outcome. The best outcome is they are thriving and surviving because they figured out how to work with it. And we cannot just turn around and say, I want to switch off the AI and so I will be safe. No, it's not going to happen. So that's really my...
The input is actually embrace AI. You got to embrace AI. You could be a user of AI. You could be a creator of AI. You could be, having an AI product within your system.
Let me caveat that as well.
Yeah.
Ethically, with accountability and transparency.
Okay.
So no matter what you do with AI, you should know what it is that you're doing. You cannot turn around and say, I'm sorry, it is a black box. I don't know what's inside a black box. That is not an acceptable answer. You have to know. Or at least put a caveat out there saying, I don't know how this works. It seems to give me an answer every now and then. I think I'll go with it. Then I can choose to then work with you or not work with you.
Fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
So
good point. Okay.
Thank you.
So over to you, Gerald.
Completely agree.
Your
with
one
you.
idea.
No, completely agree with you in that, we are seeing a lot of startups that were very promising and then suddenly disappeared, right? I mean, it could be irrelevance or technology obsolescence or whichever. But so, I mean, the main thing for me is to really, for everyone to really, use this networking opportunity to really test out all your business ideas, your concepts, because you don't know what you don't know. A lot of the information on the internet does not necessarily give you the full picture. And really test out, when you finally get the opportunity to talk to customers and all, say that, hey, pitch to them, say, let's just do a pilot. Let's just start, executing this and testing the concept out. Because your product may be great, but it may not fit their needs, right? And then you need to tweak it, right? So there are a lot of different ways that we go to do that. And in the corporate space, whether it's Microsoft or our global system integrator partners, we run a lot of hackathons these days, right? Please do participate. Please do get on board with all those pieces, because that's how we identify a lot of our partners. One example is Kereta Api here in Indonesia. From there, we were testing out Gen AI capabilities, and we found this company called Botica, and they are now, doing that whole self-service kind of agent bots in the kiosks in the train stations, right? So that's
Okay, so test your business ideas. You have the opportunity to network in the room here. Allow yourself to learn a little bit more about what should be your pitch when you actually go to ASEAN. The worst thing you can do is go to a market and not be prepared, because you get only one shot at it. So this might be a good place for you to test your business ideas, prepare yourself for the actual pitches that you're going to be doing over the next few months. Good advice, Gerald. Thank you. Ms. Brenda, one idea from you?
My idea is, fusion.
Yes?
Yeah, fusion is mixed, right? I really like the words because I feel like we cannot be our own island. We need to find the new theory of this generation, what we can do.
The fusion of technology, culture, everything.
Correct,
Yes,
correct.
yes.
So it's mean that I like the collaboration. So Indonesia collab with the Malaysian, with Singapore, with Vietnam, with Thailand. Because like Singapore, very good on regulation. Indonesia, poor talent. Malaysia, good on blueprint, right? So each of us is very great. Yeah, I don't need to compete. I don't need to be like you. I don't need to be like Singapore or Malaysia because we are different. That's how we collaborate together. That's why I like joint venture, collaboration. I will do my part because I'm very best on that. You do your part because you're very best on that. So when we are fusion together, we become stronger. That's the new theory and business model for me.
That's a
Thank you.
fantastic idea. Fantastic
Thank you.
idea. And in fact, yes, it does deserve our applause. Yes. So, the point here is that she's made actually is that the diversity of ASEAN is actually a plus point. And if you can fusion it or create a new synergy is the way to go forward. And I think that's very well articulated. Thank you. Sri SP Singh, your idea of what you believe will really drive the agenda forward?
In fact, what I see, if the corporates could share their secrets of failure and the success with the startups, I think that can be one of the single largest contribution which corporates can make for the success of the startups. Rest of the things definitely are important as far as the market access and other things are concerned. They can be the initiator for that. But I think their experiences which they have gained through their journey, and more importantly, the experiences of failure.
So are you talking about the experiences of the companies from India or the experience of already having worked with ASEAN?
Yes, those.
So there may be some good case studies.
Yes. There could be
Understood.
a very good case studies in these ASEAN countries.
Understood.
Sharing that with the startups and the people who are thinking to come
into the region. So actually, there are some good case studies here today. We had Zoho earlier. We had a few other companies who actually talked about how they actually built a footprint and still are building a footprint. Right? It's an ongoing process. But you're right. That could be a little bit more of a pitch towards mentoring them in the direction of using case studies and experiences. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Dr. Zorina, what is your one idea that you would like everybody to catch on to?
So my one idea is for us to establish regional incubator network. So this network shouldn't be a conventional network. It should be able to provide startup with the access to market, not just funding. Yeah, for this to happen, both startup and also corporate need to acknowledge the differences in terms of how they operate and also the cultural differences. If they don't respect the differences, then there's no way this is going to happen. Thank you.
Okay, so do you see the regional incubator network should be something that the ASEAN Scale-Hub does?
Yes, of course.
Is that something that, Ashish, I think you should consider that.
Yes, exactly one of the tangible output that could perhaps come out from this Scale-Hub, working together with ASEAN Startup Initiative.
Okay, good. So there's homework for you, Ashish, there. Okay, so I think we got some 6 great ideas. I'll summarize that towards the end, but I want to have a little bit more engagement with the audience here. I would like to ask, I'll come back to you, but before I come to you, I'd like to ask Somchai. Somchai, can we get the microphone to Somchai, please? Somchai, you were here yesterday and a panel discussion, And you said some very interesting things about how your organization is working with startups, and especially in Thailand. Do you have any comment or do you have any observations based on what you heard right now? Feel free to just share, just a little bit from you.
Yeah, I think I feel, I mean, that's, if we are able to work together in a closer loop, it will be pretty good. I mean, even though we don't really fully invest or funding this, but I see a lot of time that there are venture capital and there is a startups. And I think from this seminar, I have the idea that if 3 of us can get together, so there is funding, there is a startups, and we can help execute in the go-to markets. I think that should be a pretty good combination to make this thing happen, and everyone benefit from this.
Yeah.
That's what I can see now.
That's good input, Somchai, because that's something, Ashish, or for us to take into the ASEAN Scale Hub as we go forward. Ibu Asti, would you like to give a little bit of a comment? May I have the microphone here to Ibu Asti from Brin? I'm going to come back to you, yeah? After this is your turn. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. This dialogue is very communicative, and then it's very two-way communication in here. I just want to lead a little discussion in here, or maybe insight, which is right now we have discussed everything about the digital. What do you think in here? Current progress is in a science is more towards the open innovations.
Yeah.
In this case, that open innovations meanings in here, open platforms, open software, open everything. So how, and then most of the of developers coming from the startups, starting from the startups. I just wondering how you perceive these competitions from the startups to the big company, which is under names of open platform or open competitions in here. Yeah. Maybe, for example, this is strongly faced, these challenges are strongly faced to the Microsoft, for example, because we have open platforms everywhere. How do you perceive these competitions, and how you dealing with this issue with the developments of the startup in this field? Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe Gerald, do you want to take that first? A tough one for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. So for us, I think as a platform company, at least from what I know internally, our main competitions are other platform providers in this space. And it's about who has the best ecosystem, who has the best onboarding enablement of our, different startups, different developers, and all those pieces, right? So competition, to be very honest, at least at the enterprise level,
you don't see it as competition.
It's not that way, but I think we are also very conscious of doing open standards, becoming more interoperable and all that, because we realize that we can't do everything on our own.
Yeah.
Right. We need a broad ecosystem of partners to come into play for that. Right. So for us, you'll always hear the word partnership a lot with Microsoft, and at the end goal, to be very honest, our main goal is to just ensure that you're on Azure.
Yeah.
We'll be good, right? So AWS will want you to be on AWS,
yeah.
Google will want you to be on their platform also, right? So it's more, when it comes to platform providers, that's the kind of competition we see. But with high growth SMEs, is usually really who stands out in terms of what is the innovative idea, what is the technology that you're going to market with, right? And usually, sometimes we even reach out to these SMEs to say that let's partner together, let's go for the deal together, because there's just no other alternatives in the markets also, right? So yeah.
Got
I mean, it's not that kind of competition, but yeah.
It's healthy competition, you could put it that way. Because I think Microsoft has survived alongside all the open source solutions in the world all this time. And there's a constant innovation cycle even within Microsoft.
Yes.
In response to open source the innovations that are taking place.
The competition is really on the comprehensiveness of the ecosystem.
Correct.
So how secured you are, how much data governance capabilities do you have, how much,
Correct.
you know, so a wide range of things.
Absolutely spot on. So Harish, you wanted to say something on that?
I just wanted to add, again, I'm biased. I was 20 years in Red Hat, which is all about open source technologies. And I cannot speak for Red Hat anymore, but if I were to be able to speak for Red Hat, Microsoft was not a competition at all.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it doesn't matter from that point of view. Because the technologies that you want as a developer, if you are doing in a startup mode, you want to create things, you don't want to be beholden to somebody else for the tools and technologies that you need to build and create for yourself. There will be some dependency, but you need to have your eyes open when you accept those dependency. Because when at some point in time, you may have to disconnect from the dependency. You want to be able to then lead your own path forward and move forward. So that's where the idea of standards comes in. So if you are stuck in a particular format of a file format or a format for chip design, and there is no interoperability with other formats, you now have a problem. Because if that vendor or the provider of that particular software or format decides to lock it up or remove access from you, you now don't have a way forward. So you need to be able to find and track the areas that you're willing to compromise and what you cannot compromise. So therefore, you need to build capability for that. So if you are a startup, you need to define where those things, and these things will change on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So if you don't articulate and at least, enumerate what are the things that you need to be worried about, when it hits you, you don't know why it hit you. And then you die. You don't want to be there. So you have to be way ahead of time, anticipate, because we have seen this happening in industry for way too long.
Yeah. Thank you. There's a question. Yeah, we have about 10 minutes. You want us to start wrapping up, right? Yeah, great. A question to the gentleman in the audience? And I'm coming to you, Cyrus. Yeah. Yes.
Hello.
Please.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm representing QA-Meet. We are currently a bootstrapped startup based in Cochin, Kerala, India. So as the panelist rightly said, we are one of the startup who got a Startup India productization grant from the government of India. And we are progressing on we are actually working towards manufacturers and especially in the apparel and garment manufacturing quality and compliance part purely. So my question towards the panel is that even though the prime core idea for this event, for any of this, all of this discussion is materializing the business to the next level. So do we, as a part of ASEAN Scale-Up team, do we get a special privilege or something like we will get we are connecting to the government or sometimes to the government of Malaysia or some contract we are getting. For example, we are getting the connect, but still we will certainly have some hurdles to pass on as we are just a startup. Maybe there is a possibility. So what can be a special privilege you can provide as a curated startups in this event and take up to the next level? Because we are, I came to understand that we are already a curated team over here. So if you are getting at least a special, some privilege separately to the other competitors, to collaborate and to enter into any contract, even it's a government one, when it's a private sector one, what can be the support can be provided from the government side?
I think that question is actually to me. The purpose of actually this ASEAN Scale Hub today is to get a benchmark of getting to know everybody and what are the aspirations you have and the requirements you have. This team is actually going to work. Don't look at this as a 2-day event. Actually look at it as a 12-month journey. So these are the inputs that you need to give to the team so that they'll start working on ideas like this of connecting you to business opportunities, connecting you to other government opportunities that may be around here, and help you also to ease your way into the ASEAN. Because remember, this is the first time everybody's meeting everyone. So the curated companies means this is the group of companies who would be then taken to ASEAN region over the next few months. So your point is noted, and I think Wendy, you'll make a note of that. Okay, so I think we are coming to the close of this whole panel. I would like to ask Cyrus to say a few words about how he has, because Cyrus, we held a women leadership and empowerment panel in Singapore recently. Cyrus was one of the speakers there. Cyrus, you have any ideas from your side of what do you think companies should do in order to further this particular idea?
Sure. I'll talk about the startup community first and then get to women in tech. I've heard throughout the morning and through the panelists, what is available. I don't know why startups looking for a handout all the time. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You see, when you start an idea, when you come across a very creative and innovative idea, number one, you should have very extensive research who your distributors will be, who your resellers will be, where your funding will come from, what is it that you will do if you don't get the funding, and so on and so forth. Because we hear a lot of excuses. I didn't get the support, government didn't help me, I didn't get the funding, I didn't get the business, yada, yada, yada. Well, I mean, there was no promise to begin with. So please be prepared. When you get into a business, you have to fund it. You have to look for the distribution, the acceptance, the corporates, big boys, small boys. And all of this that we discussed is gravy on top.
Yeah.
Sure, you got the funding. Yes, there was something from the government. Yes, there was a fund. But that is all gravy on top. Please don't start a business saying, I hope I will get something somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not good business sense. A venture capital won't touch you because you are ill-prepared.
Good point, yeah.
That goes to women in tech too. We had an extensive conversation. For a very long time, I think business and women in tech were marginalized. They were not given the opportunity. Now you have the platform. And now I almost think that you have to snatch that.
Yeah.
Not wait for it, but snatch it. I am successful in A, at an equal playing field. It's not men versus women, never has been. But I think you have to stand taller, and I think that's what we discussed at that conversation. We had some very successful business lady leaders, and you take it. I am perfectly capable. I don't need a man's endorsement or any other endorsement. We are very successful on our own. But if there is bias and there's prejudice, it should be flagged socially, saying, I did not get this job or this particular treatment because I was a woman. That was shameful. So I think it's that point where you have to drag it, snatch it, and make do with it. And there are people who wholeheartedly endorse it and promote it.
So take it, don't wait to be given it, but take it.
Take it away.
Okay. With that note, I think we would like to close this panel. I'd just like to very quickly summarize that some of the ideas that we got from the panelists. We had Andy here who talked about fostering innovation is an idea that we should pursue, and how can we do that? And we have a lot of agencies in the room that can help us here. Dr. Zurina talked about the regional incubator network that we should set up. So that's a good idea. Thank you very much for that. Harish Pillai here said that everybody here must embrace AI. And I think that's an important point. Keep it in mind. Gerald talked about test your business ideas. And that's a very Microsoft thing. And I think, it's a great advice, a great piece of advice that testing your business ideas will give you a better idea of what are you actually selling. The place to do it is the ASEAN Scale Hub in this room here. You're going to meet a lot of people. Brenda gave a very good idea that fusion is the most important part. Don't try to be pushing a cultural identity on its own. Combine, create fusion ideas, And that should be the solution, which is a win-win, has everybody's strengths on the table. And last of all, Sri SP Singh, he's talked about sharing the secret of success. I think that's important, and mentoring programs that ASEAN Scale-Up is going to do will attempt to do that. We will share the success of companies that have already made success in ASEAN, and many of the 40 or 70 startups we have here can learn from that. So thank you very much. Please give a big warm round of applause for our panelists. And if we have our panelists here, can we take a group picture? I'd like to invite, is Ashish in the room? Or has Ashish, please, can you come to the stage? We'd like to take a group photo. And Ryan, thank you very much for putting together this panel, and we really look forward to handing it back to you.
It's our pleasure. I'm going to ask to hold you just 5 minutes if we can, because we want to do a group picture. We want to bring in Mr. Ashish, because I said yesterday, the minute I let you go, we're never going to get you all back again.
Yes.
Okay? For the rest of you in the room, that is the conclusion of the conference this morning. You can make your way out to the exhibition area, make your way out for lunch. It is one-on-one meetings, it is workshop, it is roundtable discussions this afternoon. And as I mentioned, we will come together one more time this evening for the gala dinner. If there's anything we can do to make your day more productive, more efficient, any introductions we can help with, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much for joining us again this morning, and we look forward to seeing you and working with you for the rest of the day. Thanks so much. Okay, yeah. Gerald should be in the middle by number. Yeah, okay. Let me...
Yeah.